Hey guys, welcome to Fanfic Fanatics. So in today's video we are gonna see, what if Deku became Green Samurai under X-Men? Before starting, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe if you are interested in MHA fanfictions. This story is The Samurai of the X-Men by Makedonius. Now without wasting any more time, let's dive in. Izuku Pav. 3 months ago I run away from that hellhole of a home. Right now I am walking through the streets of Musudafu getting some groceries. I took some money from the Yagis, but that was out after a month, so I started being a vigilante. I take the money from the villains that I beat up. Yesterday I captured a villain with a wind-based quirk. He got a good hit on me, but I defeated him at the end. I hobble my way towards a grocery store. I need some medical supplies, some food, drinks, rope, tape and superglue. You see, I am trying to make some gadgets, but sadly I am not very good at it. Sometimes I wished my quirk would allow me to copy other things beside fighting styles, but well, sadly it doesn't. Anyways, I am walking into the store and start to get the things I need. After I got everything, I was about to pay as Izuku. I turned my head to look at the person who said my name, and as I saw who it was, my blood started to boil. It was my bitch of a sister. I threw my money at the cashier, took my bags and run out of the store, my sister and her friends running after me. Izumi. Izuku, please wait. Shoto. Izuku. Shoto tried using his ice on me, but I ran into a crowd of people and he stopped. I ran through the crowd, turning right and left and then taking a sharp turn into an alleyway. I paused to catch my breath as I saw my sister and the others run past me. I took my bags and was about to walk to my hideout as I heard someone land behind me. I turned around and saw my uncle, capture scarf ready and his goggles down. No one Pav. Izuku and Aizawa had a standoff. Neither of them moved, waiting for the other one to make the first move. Izuku didn't wanted to fight his favorite uncle, so he took a step back ready to run away, but that was a mistake as Aizawa sended his scarf at him. Izuku knew how his uncle fought, so he had no problem to dodge the scarf. Izuku let his bags fall and took out the rope he bought. He went into a fighting stance similar to that of Aizawa. Izuku knew his rope wasn't as good as his scarf, but he needed to try, so he threw one end of the rope at Aizawa, who countered with his scarf. He tried to entangle his scarf with Izuku's rope, but it didn't work as Izuku pulled it back just in time. Aizawa then charged at Izuku, his capture scarf and hair floating as he used his quirk on Izuku. Izuku was catched off guard by this, but it didn't shock him enough to dodge the charge and launch his rope at Aizawa. Capturing his foot, he pulled and Aizawa fell face first to the ground. Izuku then pulled his rope back, but Aizawa caught it with his hand, holding it, trying to pull Izuku towards him. Izuku struggled, but his footing was better, so he stood his ground. Then Aizawa screamed. Aizawa. Now, Izuku felt how the weight on his body increased. He turned his head to see Izumi using her quirk on him, then he saw a yellow-white blur flying towards him. Izuku was too slow to dodge and was met with a kick in the face, what sended him flying towards Aizawa. Aizawa let go of the rope and caught Izuku. He tried to bind Izuku with his own rope, but Izuku reacted fast, jumped up and headbutted Aizawa. Aizawa held his nose as Izuku jumped over him. He turned around and faced the entrance of the alleyway and saw his family standing there. What shocked Izuku was that all of his uncles and aunts were there as well, together with his grandpa. Izuku mind. They turned against me, all of them turned against me. Just then Inko stepped forward in her hero costume. Inko. My baby, please. Izuku didn't even let her finish as he threw a broken bottle at her. She stopped it with her telekinesis just in time. But what she didn't saw was that Izuku threw his rope as well. The rope wrapped around Inko's waist and Izuku pulled with all his strength. Inko was sent flying towards him as she closed in. Izuku made a roundhouse kick, hitting Inko in the face, sending her into a nearby wall. Everyone was shocked at what Izuku just did. All Might, Endeavor and Gran Torino charged at Izuku while the others run over to Inko to see if she was okay. She was bleeding from her broken nose. Izumi. Mom. Rei. Mitsuki and Masaru. Inko. Izuku didn't care. He dodged a punch by Toshinori and a kick from Torino. Endeavor didn't want it to hurt his nephew to hurt, so he tried to punch him, but Izuku dodged without a problem since Endeavor wasn't really a hand-to-hand fighter. That continued for a while, Izuku dodging and throwing punches on his own until Izuku felt how his body was getting heavy again. He didn't needed to look to know that it was the doing of Izumi. Izuku tried to dodge another attack by Gran Torino, what he barely managed, but he wasn't fast enough to dodge the attack by Toshinori. He stumbled backwards. He tried to recompose himself, but that fails as Katsuki. Die. Katsuki sended a massive explosion into Izuku's back, causing him to fly forward, crashing through a wall. Gran Torino. Katsuki. Katsuki. What, he hurt Auntie? Endeavor. You sended him flying through a fucking wall. Katsumi. Equally, now come on, let's get him. Aizawa walked through the hole in the wall to get Izuku. Everybody expected Aizawa to walk out carrying a unconscious Izuku, but instead of that Aizawa came flying out of the hole. Toshinori catched him. Toshinori. Aizawa, what happened? Aizawa. I don't know, I went to get him but then. Inko. Then what? Aizawa. His eyes began to glow green and then I was sent flying. Izumi. But his quirk can't. They were interrupted as they saw a figure walking out of the hole in the wall, and what they saw shocked the family. They saw Izuku, his eyes glowing green, in his hand a green glowing katana, and as if that wasn't enough, wood was growing out of his body, covering his body, transforming into a wooden armor. The last thing the family saw was the rage-filled face of Izuku before the armor covered his face, completing the transformation. With Izuku at the same time. We can see a bloody Izuku laying on the ground, barely conscious. He was thinking about what just happened and he grew angrier every second. While his uncle was approaching him. Izuku's mind. Why is turning everyone against me? You are weak. Why don't they love me? Deku. Why do they hate me? You are not worth it. Even the people I thought that care about me. Stay down. No, I will never stand down again. Stay down. I will never stay down again. Izuku felt power shooting through his body. His eyes shot open as he jumped up and punched his uncle in the guts, sending him flying back through the hole. Izuku stood up even as his body screamed in pain. He walked towards the hole as he felt something form in his hand. He walked out of the hole and saw his family. He grew angrier just by seeing them. He then gave into his rage. Izuku charged at his family, shoulder barging Toshinori, sending him flying out of the alleyway. People started to scream as the number one hero just flew out of alleyway. Gran Torino was the first to recover from the shock. He jumped at Izuku, but Izuku caught him by the face before he slammed him into the concrete, making the old hero fall unconscious. Endeavor threw a fireball at Izuku, but Izuku just deflected the fireball with his katana before he charged at Endeavor, catching him off guard with his speed. Endeavor tried to step back, but Izuku was faster as he brought down his sword, cutting Endeavor across the chest. Endeavor fell to the ground. He saw how Izuku lifted his sword. But before Izuku could finish it, he was shot by a red beam that sent him flying into a wall again. Inko. No way. Izumi. What are they doing here? Shoto. The X-Men. Izuku looked up and saw a guy with some kind of sunglasses standing. He stood there staring at Izuku, ready to shot a beam again. Cyclops. Stand down, boy. But Izuku was so full with rage that he let out a war cry before he charged at the new hero. Cyclops shot another beam, but Izuku blocked it with his sword, redirecting the beam towards his family. They jumped to the ground to be not hit by the beam. As that was happening, a new figure with blue fur jumped over Cyclops directly at Izuku, kicking him in the face. Izuku fell to the floor and rolled back to dodge another attack by the blue-furred beast. Izuku attacked again, charging at the blue beast, but as he was about to strike him with his sword, 3 metal claws stopped his blade. Izuku looked up to see Wolverine. Wolverine said nothing as he used the claws of his free hands to stab Izuku in the back. Izuku screamed in pain as he was pushed to the ground. He tried to slash at the hero with his sword, but Wolverine answered by stabbing Izuku's hand, pinning it to the floor. Izuku screamed in pain again. Before he was punched, his helmet cracking open a second punch, and it was over. Izuku laid on the ground unconscious. Wolverine pulled his claws back as Izuku's armor started to disappear. Beast immediately was at the boy's side, threading his wounds. The family rushed over to them to see if Izuku was okay, but Wolverine stopped them. Wolverine. Halt right there. Inko. But that is my son. Cyclops. But he seems not to like you very much. Ray walked over to Endeavor to look if he was okay, and luckily the wound wasn't too deep. Just then a bold man in a wheelchair drove into the alleyway. He stopped beside Izuku, looking down on the bloody boy before he turned towards the family. Professor Xavier. That boy is coming with us. Family. What? Aizawa. You can't do that. Xavier. I can. That boy has the X gene inside him, and a powerful one as well, and also he doesn't seem to like you all very much. Inko. He is my son. Izumi. He is my brother. Family. We are his family. No. Everyone turned towards Izuku, seeing him with his eyes open, looking at them full with hatred. Izuku. We never were family. Izumi and Inko were shocked but soon fell to their knees, starting to cry. The other females in the group joined. They just were disowned by their own son, friend and nephew. Aizawa. Izuku. Shut up. Beast tried to calm Izuku down, but Izuku just kept screaming. Izuku. I fucking trusted you. I trusted you and you turned against me. Izuku screamed while crying. His tears mixed with his blood fell down his cheeks. He then took a few deep breaths. He then looked at the professor. Izuku. I will go with you, just get me away from them. Xavier. Of course. Izuku Pav. It has been a week since the fight against my old family, After the fight, I was brought to a hospital until I was enough healed to be brought to America where a new life awaits me. Professor Xavier visits me every day looking how I am doing. Sometimes Beast or Cyclops join him. My family also tried to visit me, but I told the nurses and doctors to not let them to me. I heard some screaming sometimes, but that was all. Today, however, was a different day. Today was the day I was allowed to leave the hospital. I still had to wear the bandages around my torso, legs, and arms. The doctor said I was lucky that nothing was broken, but that was probably because of my new powers. To be honest, it's weird. I mean, my quirk, I had it all of my life. I was used to how it worked, but my new powers. I can feel how powerful I am now. It feels like I could destroy the whole hospital with one move of my hand. I probably could. Once a nurse brought a flower into my room, and all of a sudden I felt like a friend was in my room. I stretched out my hand. I wanted to grab the flower. Then all of a sudden she began to grow. She grew and grew until she reached my bed. The nurses freaked out about that, and I was brought to a new room. Anyways, Cyclops was so kind to get my things from my hideout after I told him where it was. I didn't had a lot of things: my hero analysis notebooks, a laptop, some tools, and some clothes. Sadly, my phone got destroyed during the fight, so I will have to get a new one when I am in America. After the nurses changed my bandages for the last time, I stood up and walked over to my things. I took my favorite clothes and put them on. I bought them myself. The Yogis didn't cared about me, so I had to buy everything myself. As I put it on, I realized that all of my bandages were visible, but I didn't care. People should see what they did to me. I packed the rest of my things into my bag together with my notebooks. I then put it on my back and grabbed my laptop. Just then the door opened and in came Professor Xavier, Beast, Cyclops, and Wolverine. Xavier. Are you ready, Izuku? Izuku. Yes, I have everything. I am ready to go. Xavier. Then let's go. We have a taxi that brings us to the airfield. I nodded as I followed the professor. The professor was in front of me. Cyclops, Beast, and Wolverine were behind me as we walked out of the hospital. No one pav. We can see the group of 5 entering a bus taxi. The bus had a ramp what the professor used to get into the bus, while Izuku and the other 4 normally got into the bus. Beast helped the professor to lock his wheelchair so that it wouldn't roll around while they drove. Izuku looked back at the hospital as they started to drive off. As he turned around and looked out of the window, he immediately ducked down, catching the 4 X-Men by surprise. Beast. Izuku, are you okay? Izuku. Did they see me? Cyclops. Who? Izuku. My old family. Wolverine. They didn't saw, or else they would have started to chase after us. Izuku let out a sigh of relief as he sat up again. The rest of the drive was uneventful. Xavier asked Izuku some questions, what Izuku answered, and after a while Izuku and Beast were in a discussion about chemistry and biology. As the bus stopped, Beast helped the professor off the bus. Izuku got out of the bus and followed the group into an airport. Cyclops. You gonna like it, bias Izuku, believe me, you or feel just like at home. Izuku. I hope. I never had a real home. Wolverine. I know how that feels. I had no home myself for a long time, until I met the professor and he offered me a place at his school. Believe me when I say it doesn't give any better place for people like us. Izuku looked at Wolverine and nodded. Wolverine then smiled at Izuku before placing his hand on his head, ruffling his green hair. Wolverine. You are gonna fit in just fine. Izuku smiled back at Wolverine. As they made their way towards a hangar, the door opened and what Izuku saw made his mouth fall open. Cyclops. Izuku, that is the X-Jet. Izuku. It looks so cool. Cyclops. I know, right? The professor smiled at his 2 students as he made his way towards the jet, followed by Beast and Wolverine. Xavier. Come on, you two. Cyclops and Izuku run after them as they entered the jet. Cyclops sat down on the pilot seat as he drove the jet out and then took off. They were 10 minutes into the fly as Izuku asked. Izuku. How long until we are there? Beast. An hour or 2, then we should reach the mansion. Izuku nodded as he looked out the window as they flew over the ocean. After a while Izuku sat back down into his seat and started to relax as he fell asleep. Beast. He fell asleep. Xavier. Let him sleep. After 2 hours they landed in the mansion's secret cave. All of the students came to greet them. The first to exit the ship were the professor, Cyclops, and Wolverine. Jean. Welcome back, Professor. Xavier. Thanks, Jean. Kitty. So, where is the new guy? Cyclops. He fell asleep during the flight. Hank is trying to wake him up. Just then they could hear footsteps coming from the jet. They turned towards the jet and saw Izuku and Beast exit the jet. As the 2 reached the group, Xavier turned towards Izuku. Xavier. Izuku. Welcome to the X-Men. No one pav. This plays 4 months after the events of the last chapter. The news of a new X-Men member has spread around the news like wildfire. but what shocked the people more was the fact that the new member was the son of All Might. In many news he was already called the future symbol of peace, something Izuku despised being called. After stopping a robbery together with Spike and Kurt, a news crew approached him. Reporter. Mr. Yagi, can you tell us how it is being called the future symbol of peace? Izuku. I despise being called that. Not only the reporters but also the people watching at home were surprised at him stating that he doesn't like being called that, especially a family watching the news. Reporter. Can you explain? Izuku. It's simple, without a war there can be no peace. If you want peace, a war is inevitable. Reporter 2. What do you mean heroes work hard to keep peace by fighting crime? Izuku. Yeah, heroes fight. Heroes are in a never-ending war to keep people safe. For you it looks like peace, but while we talk, a villain could plan an assault. Another hero sacrifices his life to stop him, and so on. What I want to say is a hero is savior, not a keeper. The people listening and watching his speech were speechless. They never thought about it that way. Reporter. Does that mean All Might is a wrong Zamboli? Izuku. No, All Might is a Zamboli of peace. He works hard not only to save people but to keep peace as good as he can. In Japan, the heroes with the most workload are the underground heroes. Why? Because the villains are afraid of the Pillar of Hope, what All Might has become. But what happens when that pillar crumbles, when it isn't there anymore? I can tell you what happens: war and chaos. With that, Izuku walked towards his friends, who were as well speechless at his speech, but he turned around one more time to say, Izuku. The humans need to learn from the past, from their mistakes, so that they never repeat the mistakes of the past ever again. That is the only way to finally require real peace. With that, Izuku walked to his friends. They then started to walk towards the mansion as Spike asked. Spike. Dude, since when are you so philosophical? Izuku. It isn't philosophy when it's the truth. Then they heard a reporter behind them scream. Reporter. Sir, we never got your hero name. Izuku thought for a second before he turned around and said, Izuku. I am the Green Samurai. And with that, Izuku left the place together with Kurt and Spike. To say, after that day everyone knew the Green Samurai, and let's just say there was a certain person who wasn't pleased at all. 5 days later. Izuku's POV. I was sitting in my room reading a book about wood species and types. Now you may think I am an extreme nerd, and you would be partially right. I need to learn about that things since I found out that I could change the type and species of the wood that I use for my armor. Every wood species has its own strength and weaknesses, and then it give the types that help me make my armor even stronger. As an example, if I make my armor out of ipe wood, is also called diamond nut, or lapacho wood, is the hardest wood in the world, and then use the moonwood type. For those who don't know, moonwood isn't a species but a type of wood. When you cut a tree at the right day or night where the tree's juice are resting, then you can achieve moonwood. What makes it special is that wood that is moonwood can't burn. It does give examples where the trunk of those trees were used as chimneys since they couldn't catch fire. I literally can walk through Endeavor's fire and could take a punch from Asmite and my armor would still be intact with nearly no damage, but I would be a cooked sausage under it. Besides my armor, I also could create weapons, but the weird thing about the weapons is my powers only allowed me to create Japanese weapon. When I tried creating other weapons that weren't Japanese, my powers wouldn't let me. Besides the staff, Hank Beast tried to investigate what kind of metal my edged weapons are made of. To say the least, we all were surprised as he found out that the metal was some kind of hybrid between vibranium and adamantium. As for my other powers, I could control plants and animals. I even can control the poison inside the poisoned plants. Well, anyways, I was sitting in my room as Kurt teleported right in front of me. Kurt. Izuku. Izuku. Good lord, Kurt. Kurt. Hee. Sorry about that. Izuku. It's okay. Anyways, what do you need? Kurt. The professor wants to talk to you, Jean and Storm. Izuku. Why? Kurt. He said it is about a new member joining. Izuku. I will be on my way. Kurt. Should I teleport you? Izuku. No thanks, not after last time. Kurt. That was an accident. Izuku. I don't care. Kurt. Please. Izuku. No. Kurt used his best puppy eyes on me. Kurt. Please see. Izuku. Okay, just stop with the eyes. Kurt. Yes. With that, Kurt laid his hand on my shoulder, and in the blink of an eye we stood in the office of the professor. Jean and Storm were already there. The professor was at his usual spot, and besides him stood a boy with wild purple hair. I walked besides Jean and Storm, and so did Kurt. Xavier. Thanks for bringing him, Kurt. You can leave now. Kurt nodded before he teleported away. Xavier. So you three are probably wondering why I called you three especially. Storm. Yes. Jean. Kind of. Izuku. No. Xavier. Well, I want you three to meet our newest member, Hitoshi Shinso. He will work very close with you three. Storm. And why, if I am allowed to ask? Xavier. Well, as you three know, you lose control over your powers pretty fast when it comes to emotions. Me, Jean and Storm were silent at that since it was true. All three of us were Omega level and our powers become extremely dangerous when we lose control over our powers. Xavier. That is why Shinso is here. His quirk and powers can help us in case you should lose control. Jean. What are his powers? Shinso. My quirk is brainwashing. If I ask a question and you answer, I can take control over you. My powers are also mental. I can read, calm and repair your mind and mental state. I also can look into your memories, but that only works when I am able to touch your head. Storm. Wow, that is pretty strong. Xavier. That is why he will accompany you three on your missions in case you should lose control. He is the only one beside me who is able to stop you without too much damage. Shinso. It's an honor to work with you. I hope we maintain on good terms. Izuku. The honor is mine. Jean. Nice to meet you. Storm. I look forward to work with you. Shinso. Xavier. On the field, his codename is Makedonius. Now could you please introduce him to the others and then Izuku show him around the mansion. Izuku. Of course, Professor. The group of four left the office as the professor let his head fall backwards looking up the ceiling. Xavier. Hopefully you like your new life here, nephew. No one Pav. Izuku, Kurt, Jean, Logan and Shinso were sitting in the X-Jet as they flew through the air. Izuku. So what is our mission? Logan. Our mission is to raid a base of Silver Samurai. Izuku. Is he there? Logan. Probably not, but he is something hiding there, something he doesn't want us to find. Jean. Any idea what it could be? Logan. No, but as much as I know Silver Samurai, it is something bad. Kurt. Probably some kind of weapon. Shinso. Most certainly. The flight continued without much talking. Izuku just sat there reading a book he recently bought. Kurt teleported behind him and leaned over to see what he was reading. Kurt. What are you reading? Izuku. The Art of War by Sun Tzu. Kurt. Is it good? Izuku turned his head right only to be face to face with Kurt only inches away from his face. Izuku and Kurt looked into each other's eyes before they turned away blushing. Izuku. Sorry. Kurt. It's okay, it was my fault anyways. The rest of the flight Kurt just sat behind Izuku who was continuing reading his book while Kurt looked at the green-haired boy. Wolverine. We are here, Jean opened the gates for us, Izuku storm inside and take everyone out you see, Kurt and Shinso you are with me. Everyone. Understood. The X-Jet landed in front of the steel gate and before they could exit the jet some goons began to shoot at the jet. Wolverine opened the ramp of the jet and Izuku immediately summoned his armor and a kanabo and stormed outside. The bullets hit his armor but they didn't got through. Izuku run at high SPPED and soon reached the first thug. The thug tried to run but Izuku swung his kanabo at the thug's legs and hit them breaking them. But Izuku didn't stop, he run to the next thug and smashed him into the ground. The last thug seeing what happened to his two friends who were unconscious and badly injured threw his weapon away and held his hands into the air surrendering. Izuku walked up to the thug and asked. Izuku. What is Silver Samurai hiding here? Thug. I don't know, I just saw a big box that was brought here. Izuku. Any idea what could be in the box? Thug. No idea, I only know that whatever is inside that box is alive. Izuku. Why are there so few of you? Thug. Well, someone came before you guys came, a guy in a red suit and two katanas. Wolverine. Deadpool. Izuku. Is he the mercenary you told me about? Wolverine. The very same. Whatever is in that base, when someone paid Deadpool to get it, then we should hurry, when we don't want that it falls into Deadpool's hand. But before they could make a move, the gates of the base flew open, nearly hitting the X-Jet. Kurt teleported Shinso and Jean away just at the right time out of the way before they could be crushed. The thug used that opportunity to run, but Izuku and Wolverine didn't care as they got into fighting stance facing the gate waiting for an attack. Then out of the smoke two figures emerged. As soon as they came into view, Wolverine and Izuku took a step back. Deadpool. Wolverine, how nice of you to join us. Wolverine. Why are you here, Wade? Deadpool. Well, someone paid me good money to free that big guy there and a little extra to recover this. Deadpool held up a disc for the others to see. Wolverine got into a stance ready to charge at them. Wolverine. I will take Juggernaut, you take Deadpool, don't let him get away with that disc. Izuku. Understood. Izuku dissolves his kanabo and summons a katana and a wakizashi, the Japanese short sword. Deadpool. You are ready, big guy. Juggernaut. I can't wait to rip them apart. Wolverine and Izuku charged and so did Juggernaut while Deadpool stood back. Jean used her powers to throw rocks at Juggernaut, distracting him while Wolverine jumped at him. Juggernaut tried to get Wolverine off him but he just stabbed his claws into the back of the big man. Izuku meanwhile managed to get past Juggernaut and charged at Deadpool. Deadpool pulled out one of his Desert Eagles and started to shoot at Izuku, but Izuku either dogged them or let them hit him. What was a bad idea even so the bullets didn't got through his armor. The hit was strong enough to stop him, while Deadpool continued to shoot at him. Deadpool. That kind of remains of the movie The Last Samurai, you know, the scene where they all get cut down by the Gatling gun. Click. Deadpool. Huh. Deadpool while talking didn't realize that he shoot all the rounds that were in the gun. Deadpool. Come on really author. In a second Izuku was in front of Deadpool. Deadpool tried to jump backwards but it was too late. Izuku swung and cut Deadpool's gun into pieces. Deadpool. Oh come on, that was one of my favorite guns. Deadpool pulled one of his katanas out and slashed at Izuku, but Izuku blocked it with his blade. Izuku then used his short sword and slashed at Deadpool's right arm what held the disc and cut it straight off. After that Izuku kicked him in the chest making him stumble backwards. Deadpool. Oh come on, why does everyone go for my arm? Izuku dissolved his short sword and grabbed the disc from Deadpool's separated arm. Deadpool then jumped at Izuku kicking him and then slashing at him. Izuku blocked Deadpool's katana with his own and started to push the mercenary back. Deadpool. I need help her big guy. Izuku heard a roar. He turned his head to see Juggernaut charging at him. Izuku tried to jump out of the way but Deadpool grabbed him holding him in place and then Juggernaut crushed into him sending him and Deadpool flying into the mountain. Everyone. Izuku. Izuku coughed up blood as he tried to stand up but he was met with a kick to the face and as he looked up he saw Deadpool pointing his gun at Izuku's head. Deadpool. Now we can do that the easy way or the hard way. You give me the disc, I leave with the big guy and we call it a day, or we do it the hard way, we wait for the big guy and he will get the disc from you. Izuku began to chuckle at that, what confused Deadpool. Deadpool. Why are you laughing? You know that you lost. Izuku. Who said that I lost? Deadpool. I did. Now give me the disc. Izuku just continued to chuckle as he pointed behind Deadpool. Deadpool turned around and his eyes grew widened at what he saw. Juggernaut was on the ground bleeding heavily and a man with a silver armor and sword stood above him. Izuku. I think the owner of the disc has arrived. Deadpool. Oh fuck. Izuku just heard screaming as he slowly drifted into unconsciousness. Deadpool on the other hand started to run away only to be cut in half by Silver Samurai. Silver Samurai. Disgraceful bugs, where is the disc? Deadpool. Hey Silver, nice to see you too, the boy has it. Silver Samurai walked over to Izuku. Izuku's armor started to dissolve but he still had his katana in his hand. Silver Samurai. So you are the green samurai I heard of. It's sad to see how easy those bugs took you down. Silver Samurai reached for Izuku's hand only to be met with a green katana pointing at his throat. Izuku. Kind of sad to see that you already thought I am out for the count. Silver Samurai. Well, what do you want to do? You can't even stand up right now. Just give me the disc and I let you life. Izuku. Yeah, not gonna happen. Silver Samurai slashed Izuku's katana out of his hand with his own sword. He then brought up his sword to finish him off. Silver Samurai. I gave you a chance. As Silver Samurai brought down his sword, Kurt appeared beside Izuku. He grabbed the injured boy and teleported away as Silver Samurai's sword cut into the stone where Izuku's head was just seconds ago. Silver Samurai looked around to see where they went as he heard the turbines of a jet. He turned around and saw the X-jet, how he took off and flew away. Silver Samurai. You win this one, Green Samurai, but next time I will take your head. Silver Samurai was about to walk away as he saw that Izuku's katana was still there. He walked over to it and picked it up. Silver Samurai. I might as well take my price of war. He then turned towards his thugs that he brought with him. Silver Samurai. Take the big guy and let's go. He then walked away. His thugs put Juggernaut on a big hoverboard and followed him, leaving Deadpool alone behind. Deadpool. Hey guys, someone. I am still here. This plays 5 months after the last chapter. Izuku Pav. It is cool being a X-Men. Your way to become a hero is easier. People look up at you with awe and in some stores you even get somethings free. It is pretty cool being a X-Men. The only downside is that I still have to go to school. Today was my first day in Babel Hero High. The same school Jean and Scott Cyclops go. They are of course in their last year. Me, Kurt and the rest are in our first. Even so I am not the biggest fan of going to school. I quite like the fact that they don't have uniforms here, which is pretty awesome. Also many students here are big fans of the X-Men, so we are pretty popular and overall everything in this school is pretty awesome. Well, they have a dress code that goes pretty hard on the girls, but anything else is great. Right now I was walking with the others towards the school. I was nervous to say the least, but at least the others were too. No one Pav. We can see Izuku, Shinso, Kurt, Kitty, Rogue and Evan, Spike, walking towards their new school. They were nervous, well most of them besides Rogue and Shinso they looked pretty calm. Jean and Scott went there early to meet their friends and to catch up. Beast offered to drive them, what they gratefully took. Right now they were in front of their school. The other students were looking at them, some in jealousy, others in admiration. Evan started to talk while they walked into the school. Evan. You know, I never thought that I would go to a hero school. Shinso. Me too. Because of my quirk, many people treated me like a villain until my powers showed up. After that, everyone wanted to be my friend. It was disgusting. Evan. Same with me, but I was quirkless. I was the slave for my old classmate until my powers showed up. Izuku. This world is a cruel place that will never change. Rogue. Can you stop with your philosophy? Izuku. Sorry. As they were walking into the school, Izuku noticed that many girls were looking at him with lustful eyes and he couldn't blame them. But sadly for them, he already had a loving boyfriend. How did this happen? Well, flashback. We can see Izuku laying in his bed in his room, with an arm cast and some bandages around his chest. It has been a week since the mission. The professor and Beast worked on the disc to find out what was on it, and what they found shocked and disgusted them. It was the plan of a missile, but not any missile. No, it also wasn't a nuclear missile. No, it is a gas missile filled with mustard gas, one of the cruelest weapons in human history. The professor immediately informed S.H.I.E.L.D. and the Avengers. As Izuku pleaded the professor to let him help, he was turned down, saying he has done enough. Xavier. Izuku, without you we wouldn't have this information. Who knows what would have happened if we learnt about this too late. After that, Izuku was sent to his room where he was now. To say that he was happy about this would have been a lie. He lost his sword. Even so, he could create a new one. He lost his sword, that was a no-go for a samurai. But here he was laying on his bed doing nothing until Kurt. Hey Izuku. Izuku. Huh. Kurt teleported into Izuku's room to see how he was, but he didn't expected to see him half naked, only with some track shorts on, so he started blushing like crazy as he saw his supple muscular body. He couldn't say anything and just started to mumble something. Izuku. Kurt. Izuku looked at Kurt to see him standing there, his skin nearly turning red because of how much he blushed. Izuku. Kurt, you're okay. Kurt. Date me. Izuku. What? Kurt. What? Izuku. What did you just say? Kurt. I said nothing. Izuku. Kurt, you are blushing extremely hard right now, so please don't lie to me. Kurt. Kurt, mind great. Kurt, you don't even know if he is into boys, might as well say it then. Izuku. Kurt. I like you. Kurt said before turning away, hiding his face in his hands. Izuku's eyes were widened in surprise. He surely didn't expected that. Izuku had a crush on Kurt since the day of their first mission, but he thought Kurt was into Rogue since those two were best friends and always around each other. Izuku started to blush. I like you too. Kurt. Huh. Izuku. I said I like you too. Kurt. Wait, really? Izuku. Yeah. Kurt. Izuku. So what is about that date? This was my first time writing something like this. Please don't hate me. Flashback end. Since that day, Izuku and Kurt started dating. After 2 months they came out to the others. They were shocked at first, but they congratulated them and then were happy for them being together. But Rogue actually threatened Izuku that if he breaks Kurt's heart, that she would personally kick his ass back to Japan, but Izuku told her that he wasn't intending on doing that. Now as they were walking, he also saw the looks people gave Kurt. They looked at him with disgust that made Izuku angry. He laid his arm around Kurt's shoulder and gave him a kiss on the cheek. That shocked the people that were looking at them. The girls that were looking at Izuku were heartbroken. Some of them looked even jealous. The people that looked at Kurt became pale since they realized that Izuku saw them. Izuku got quite some reputation in the last months as one of the strongest X-Men, so people were afraid to get on his bad side. Rogue. There is our class. Class 1A, come on, let's go in. The young X-Men got into the classroom and saw people sitting there talking to each other. As the group walked in, all eyes were on them, what was quite uncomfortable for them. They walked to some free seats in the back of the class. Izuku sat by the window, Kurt on the table besides him, and Evan sat down in front of him. Just as they sat down, the door opened and a rough-looking man with a big scar on his cheek, black beard and a long brown leather jacket walked into the class. Hello class, my name is Arthur Maxon and I am your homeroom teacher for the next 3 years. Now go put this pay uniforms on and meet me outside on the training ground. You have 10 minutes. Who comes late will be expelled. Everyone understand? Everyone. Yes sir. Maxon. Good, now go. Everyone run out of the room besides the X-Men. They just stood up and walked over to Kurt, who teleported them directly to the front of the training rooms. They walked inside and changed into their pay uniforms. They look just like those from UA, but instead of blue and white they are green and yellow. They then walked outside and saw Maxon standing there already with a serious expression on his face. Kitty whispering to the others sarcastically, "This will be fun." No one pav. Maxon. You 6 are the first. Expected nothing else from Xavier's students. Just then the rest of the class came out. Maxon. Everyone is here now, good. Maxon walked in front of the class with his hands behind his back. Maxon. All of you in line now. The class hurried into a line and stood still like soldiers. Maxon. Good, as some of you know this class is special. Not because we have X-Men here, no, because all of you have quirks or powers that could cause a lot of destruction or are so powerful that you could easily take down some of the strongest Avengers with the right training. Izuku. Powers. Maxon. Xavier is not the only one with a school for people with mutant powers. Akira Tagata is here by my recommendation after I saw what her powers can do. Maxon pointed to a girl with white long hair and sunglasses. Everyone looked at her as Maxon continues. Maxon. Of course there are a lot of other powers besides quirks and mutant powers, but that is a story for another time. Now everyone listen up. Everyone looked at Maxon again as he continued to walk up and down in front of them. Maxon. Today I will test your power and strength. I want to see what I am dealing with this year. Don't disappoint me or you're expelled. Everyone understand? Class. Maxon. Everyone understand? Class. Yes sir. Maxon. Yagi, you are first. Izuku stepped forward as Maxon looked at him, inspecting him. He then pointed with his finger at a cement pillar that was standing alone in the field. Maxon. Destroy the pillar, but watch out, in the middle of it is a vase. If the vase should be destroyed you are expelled, understand? Izuku. Yes sir. Maxon. Good, begin. Izuku nodded and walked towards the pillar. First he wanted to cut it in half, but considering that the vase inside shouldn't be destroyed made it harder. Izuku was thinking for a few seconds until he had an idea. He closed his eyes and concentrated. What is he doing? Asked a girl with long red hair. Rogue. Rogue. Just wait and see. The girl then turned her head to look at Izuku again and gasped as she saw that little roots were growing up the pillar. The roots were small but still visible. They grew out of the ground and up the pillar. Then as soon as the roots reached the top of the pillar began to crumble like sand. The pillar became smaller and smaller in a matter of seconds until there was only a gray sand pile left, and on top of that pile was a perfectly fine white vase. Izuku walked up to the pile and grabbed the vase and walked back to Maxon and gave him the vase. Maxon took it from Izuku's hands with an impressed look on his face. Maxon. How did you do that? Izuku. My mutant powers allow me to control plants and animals of any kind besides humans. What I did was that I controlled the roots of the grass. Maxon. The roots from the grass. Izuku. Yes, the roots of grass aren't long, but they are easy to control, and when I let them grow they become strong enough to grow through cement. That is what I did here. Maxon. Interesting. Not bad. Now go back in line. Izuku. Yes sir. Izuku saluted and walked back into the line besides Kurt. Maxon. You didn't had to salute to me. Anyways, every one of you has individual tests so that I can see what you are capable of, so that I can train you the hardest way possible, so that when you leave this school that you are the best heroes you can. Now Thompson, you are next. Yes sir. The tests were hard, at least for the most people. Kurt had to grab a bottle that was on top of the school and then bring it to Maxon, then defend it from Maxon that was trying to destroy it for 2 minutes, but he wasn't allowed to teleport away only a 5 meters, and Maxon somehow always knew where to which spot he would teleport. Kurt managed to defend the bottle from Maxon, but he got a bloody nose. If it weren't for Maxon being their teacher, Izuku would have punched him for hurting Kurt. Right now Izuku and the rest of the class were walking back to class with Izuku carrying Kurt on his back. Izuku. Couldn't you just teleport? Kurt. I am too tired. They then walked into the class with Maxon already being there waiting for them. Maxon. You are here, good, sit down, we are doing introductions now. Everyone in the class sat down by their places. Maxon. Okay. Good, you know my name is Arthur Maxon, hero name Pride1. I am 30 years old and my quirk is called Brawler, and it actually is a combination of 4 quirks: Perception, Clust Punch, Twisting Impact and Brawler's Stand. Tagata, you're next. The girl with long white hair and sunglasses walked to the front of the class. Akira. Hello, my name is Akira Tagata. I am 16 years old. I am quirkless and my mutant power is called Energy Manipulation, that allows me to see the energy from quirks and mutant powers of others and shape them. Anything else? Maxon. You need to know. Akira. I am non-binary, so pronouns me with they, them, that is all. Maxon. Thompson, you're up. A girl with blackish green hair and copper-like eyes walked in front of the class. Jiz. Hey, my name is Jessica Thompson, but please just call me Jiz. I am 16 years old. My quirk is called Elementally Body. It allows me to turn my body into one of the 4 elements, and I am then able to use that element in that form. I have no mutant powers and I am gender fluid, that is all. Jessica walked back to her seat. Maxon. Oscuro, you're up. A guy with a tail walked in front of the class. Luciano. Joe, the name is Luciano Oscuro Masters, quirk Light and Shadow allows me to make light and shadows appear out of nowhere and does literally nothing else. My mutant power is called Muscle Memory and it's basically Taskmaster power. I use a sword in combat or any other weapon that lays around. Also, if I use my mutant powers for too long, I will get angrier and angrier to the point where I have to get therapy. I have nothing else. Shinso mind. Maybe I can help him with that drawback. Luciano walked back to his seat and before Maxon could say something, the girl with long red hair walked up in front of the class. Nikki. Hello class, my name is Nikki Ray. I am 16 years old and my quirk is called Sage Arts. I can eat elements or power, but if I eat too much from one power I will feel very tired. When I use all the power at once I need to eat more of the elements. She then walked back to her seat. Maxon. Arena Muke, you're next. A girl with long brown messy hair walked up. Arena. Hello, my name is Arena Muke. I am 16 years old. My quirk is called Astral Body, what gives me a ghost-like body, and my mutant power is called Arsenal, what allows me to use the mutant powers of people I saw one at a time. My birthday is on 18/10 and that is all. She then walked back. Maxon. Morgan, you're next. My own OC. A guy with black hair and silver eyes walked up in front of the class. Henry. What's up guys, the name is Henry Morgan. I am 16 years old, and I have two quirks. One is called Guarded Healing, with what I can heal people obviously, but I also give them boost to their stats. I can also heal and boost myself. My second quirk is called Bone Armor, what allows me to cover myself in bone-like armor, but it does nothing else, so I am basically the combat medic of the class. I don't have mutant powers, that is all I have to say. He walked back to his seat. Maxon. Okay Redwing, you're next. My own OC. A guy with red hair and neon blue eyes walked up in front of the class. Tom. Hey, my name is Tom Redwing. I am 16 years old. My quirk is called Crystalline Bow, what allows me to summon an indestructible crystalline bow with infinite arrows made of the SAM material in a quiver that spawns with the bow. I have awakened my quirk, what gives me different arrows with different abilities. My favorite is the electric arrow. I also have a mutant power called Supercomputer, that is why my eyes are neon blue. I can run through any number of calculations in a matter of milliseconds. It also makes me hyper analytical. It also helps me in combat and with my archery. I can also calculate movements by muscle movements, and last, if used together with my quirk, I can hit a target with a clean headshot from as far from as 600 meters with the arrow. It also gives me insomnia, that is all. I am gonna skip our X-Men. Maxon. Good, now that everyone has introduced themselves, take your syllabuses and go home. Tomorrow we will start with the real training. With that, Maxon walked out of the room. Henry. Geez, I feel like I am in the military with that guy. Nikki. Well, he is not the military hero. Pride without a reason. Kitty. He is in the top 50, right? Nikki. Yes, he is the only hero in the top 50 that isn't part of the X-Men, Avengers or S.H.I.E.L.D. Luciano. You know a lot about him. Nikki. He is my idol. The fact that he refuses to join any of those organizations and still be in the top 50 simply shows how strong he is. Akira. True, well, I would love to talk more to you all, but I have to go. See you guys tomorrow. With that, Akira walked out of the room. Slowly everyone was leaving. The X-Men were walking out of the school. Evan. Come on Kurt, can't you just teleport us? Kurt. No. Izuku. How about Cuddles if you teleport us? Kurt. Deal. Everyone grabbed each other and in a puff of smoke the X-Men were home, while one figure was looking at them from the window. Maxon. They are very interesting, especially that Yagi boy. Akira. Sir, can we go? Maxon. Oh sorry, of course let's go. No one Pav. It has been 2 weeks since school started for Izuku. We can see him laying in his bed cuddling with Kurt. It was Friday and Izuku was the first one to wake up. He tried to wake up Kurt, but Kurt just snuggled more into Izuku's chest. Izuku. Kurt, it's time to get up. Kurt. No. Izuku. Babe, come on, it's the last day before the weekend. Kurt. No, I want more cuddles. Izuku. How about this, you get up now and we will get boba and pizza after school and then you can choose which movie we watch tonight. And in a puff Kurt was up. Kurt. Come on, we are gonna be late for school. Izuku laughed at his boyfriend before he got out of the bed and put on some clothes. Izuku. Let's go. Izuku and Kurt walked down the stairs towards the common room. They expected to see their friends, but what they didn't expected to see were their teacher and 2 members of their class. Henry. Yo Izuku. Kurt, good morning. Izuku. Henry, what are you doing here? Kurt. You too, Akira. Akira. I got a call this morning to meet you guys here in the X-Men mansion. It was something about a mission. Izuku. A mission. Henry. Yeah, they called me and said they needed a combat medic, so that's why I am here. Kurt. What kind of mission? Maxon. A mission that has to do with the Silver Samurai. Izuku. The Silver Samurai. Maxon. Yes, yesterday some members of the Avengers stormed a base of the Silver Samurai. They found nothing besides a note that said that an attack in Japan was planned today. We don't know where they will attack, but that is why we are sending you there together with Morgan and Tagata. I will also be a part of the mission. Kurt. So we are kind of patrolling around Japan and wait for the attack of the Silver Samurai. Maxon. Yes, I wished I could tell you more, but that is all we know. Izuku. Will there be teams? Xavier. Yes, there will be 3 teams of us and 5 teams of the Avengers. The Hero Commission of Japan was also informed, so the Japanese heroes will be on guard as well. Rogue. What are the teams? Beast. Team number 1 will be Maxon, Izuku, Kurt, Akira, Henry and Rogue. Team number 2 is Jean, Scott, Shinso, Storm and Kitty, and team number 3 will be me, Logan, Evan, the professor and Miss Muke over there. Izuku and the rest turned towards the point where Beast pointed and they saw their classmate Arina Muke standing in the corner of the room. Kitty. Arina, since when are you here? Arina. I was here the entire time, I just didn't said anything. Maxon. Anyway, Shield was so kind to give us 2 extra jets. Everyone that is with me follow me, we have work to do. Izuku, Kurt, Akira, Henry and Rogue followed Maxon. They walked out of the mansion and saw another jet with the Shield Zamboli standing there. Maxon. Everyone on board, your hero suits are already in the jet, you can change while we fly. All of them got in while and changed into their suits while Maxon started the jet and took off towards Japan. In Japan. Now we jump to Izumi. She was sitting in a bus together with her class as they drove towards the USJ. Suyu. Yagi-san, I wanted to ask you a question. Izumi. Of course, Suyu, what do you need? Suyu. I am normally very blunt, so I hope you don't mind. Izumi. I don't mind at all. Suyu. I wanted to ask if you're by any chance related to the Green Samurai, since you look similar to him. Izumi and 6 other people got a sad look on their face as the question was asked. Izumi. He is my twin brother. Kaminari. What? Kirishima. No way, he is so manly. Mina. And hot, can we meet him? Izumi. No, you can't. Suyu. Why? Izumi. He and my family, we don't have the best relationship with each other. Suyu. Did something happen? Izumi. Aizawa. Everyone shut up, we are here. The class got out of the bus as they were greeted by a heroine wearing a space suit. 13. Hello class 1, I'm the rescue hero 13 and I will help you with today's training. Uraraka. Kya, it's 13, you're my favorite hero. 13. Always good to see a fan. While they were talking, Izumi's friends were standing by her side talking to her. Katsumi. You okay, Izumi? Izumi. Yeah, I just wished he would be here with us. Katsuki. Why? That fucking nerd is a hero already, tch, he doesn't need us. Shoto. Katsuki. She misses him, you don't need to be that rude. Katsuki. It's true that fucking nerd is looking down on us, probably only because he is a fucking X-Men now. Izumi, Shoka, Shoto and Katsumi looked at the ground. They were sad that Izuku left, but they couldn't blame him, it was their fault after all that he run away in the first place. Shoka and Katsumi were extremely sad since both of them had a crush on Izuku. They are even ready to share him as long as he comes back to them. Then the class walked into the USJ, and as 13 was explaining what they were about to do, a portal opened in the middle of the USJ as several dark-looking figures came out of it. Kirishima. Wow, look, they even have fake villains. Aizawa. Those are no fakes, they are real, stand back. Shigaraki. Hello class 1A, we are the League of Villains and we are here to kill All Might. Katsuki. How do you think you can do that, you little fuck? Shigaraki laughed as 2 big figures came walking through the portal. One was a black-looking man-bird with an exposed brain, but the other one was someone that everyone knew. Kaminari. It can't be. Aizawa. Why is he here? Izumi. Silver Samurai. Aizawa. Fuck. Silver Samurai. I hope this is worth my time, boy. Shigaraki. It will, but it looks like All Might isn't here. Wasn't he supposed to be here? Well, let's kill some students, maybe he will show up. Silver Samurai. Killing kids, no one of them looks like a real threat besides. Silver Samurai's eyes landed on a green-haired girl. Silver Samurai mind, she looks like a female version of the Green Samurai. Just as he was thinking that, a man in a black jumpsuit and a capture scarf jumped down the stairs and he started to take down several villains with ease. Silver Samurai. At least one worthy fighter. Kurogiri teleported the students away and around the USJ while Silver Samurai slowly walked towards Aizawa. While that was happening, Maxon looked on a screen that was besides the steering wheel. Maxon. Communication with the USJ has been blocked, we ordered to check out what is going on. Izuku and Akira. The USJ. Henry. You two know what that is. Izuku. It's a training facility of UA. Akira. It is mostly used for rescue training. Kurt. Do you think your sister is gonna be there? Izuku. Probably she wants to be a hero after all. Maxon. We are above the USJ in a minute. Izuku, make ready to jump out if it is something serious. Izuku. Understood. Izuku stood up and walked to the door of the jet. His armor grew on his body and he created a naginata. Maxon stopped above the USJ and zoomed in with the cameras of the jet, looking what is wrong. Maxon. This is the attack. I repeat to all teams, the attack of Silver Samurai is in the USJ. Izuku, jump out, we will be with you in a minute. Izuku. Yosh. Izuku opened the door of the jet and jumped out. He created more wood around him like a ball as he fell down through the roof of the USJ. Same time down at the USJ. Aizawa was throwing punches, kicks and villains with his capture scarf. He knew that he couldn't win, but he tried to buy enough time for reinforcements to arrive. He fought until he was grabbed from behind and thrown into the stairs. He stood up and looked who threw him, and he saw Silver Samurai's sword ready walking towards him. But just as Silver Samurai was about to attack Aizawa, the shattering of glass could be heard, followed by a loud thud. Everybody looked at the position of whatever came through the roof landed. Some villains were even brave enough to walk towards the dust cloud. As the dust settled, they saw a green shining blade in the cloud. As the dust cloud died down, it revealed the Green Samurai. Villain 1. It's the Green Samurai. The villains couldn't react fast enough as they were met with kicks or cuts. Izuku was running through the villains. He used his naginata to take many of them down while he ran towards his target. Silver Samurai just had enough time to turn around and block Izuku's naginata before it could hit his head. Silver Samurai. So we meet again, Green Samurai. Izuku. But this time I am ready for you. Silver Samurai and Izuku looked into each other's eyes before. Silver Samurai brought up his katana to break the standstill, both of them taking a few steps away from each other as they got into a fighting stance. The entire USJ was silent, watching the two samurai, waiting for the first one to attack the other one. Then Silver Samurai charged forward. Izuku got into a field guard, pointing the tip of his naginata at the charging samurai. Silver Samurai slashed at Izuku's naginata, but Izuku pulled it back, causing Silver Samurai's sword to go into the ground. Izuku then thrusted forward, aiming at the head of Silver Samurai, but he dodged and then slashed upwards with his sword in an attempt to hit Izuku. But Izuku dodged just in time before he could hit him, but as the blade flew past his face, he saw something green shimmering. Izuku's mind is that. Silver Samurai JUSED that moment of distraction to shoulder charge Izuku, hitting him unprepared and throwing him on the ground. He then brought up his sword again and thrusted at Izuku, who rolled out of the way, but he lost his naginata in the process. Izuku jumped up and away from Silver Samurai. He then created a katana and got into a fighting stance just in time to block another attack. While Izuku and Silver Samurai were fighting each other, Class 1A managed to get back together. They were shocked to see that the villains were silently watching something as they saw what was the reason. They were shocked to see the Green Samurai, especially 5 of them. Kirishima. Wow, is that Green Samurai fighting the Silver Samurai? Kaminari. 2 real samurai going at it. Momo. Their moves look so smooth. Suyu. It looks like they are dancing a dangerous dance. Just in that moment, the doors of the USJ flew open, showing a group of 5 people rushing into the USJ. A poof was heard before 2 villains found their heads smashed together. Then a purple ball of energy was seen before it smashed into a group of villains, knocking them all out. Akira. Hollow purple. Then the winds whistled as a person with a brown pilot jacket was throwing punches extremely fast, sending several villains flying, knocking them out. Maxon. Blitzkrieg. Then a girl with brown and white hair was seen touching a villain with a pistol quirk. As the villain fell unconscious, she started to use his quirk, shooting at several villains, causing them to run around in an attempt to find cover. A villain with a stone quirk blocked all the bullets as he ran towards the girls, but in a flash there was a guy in a bone-like armor standing in front of him, blocking his way while he also pushed him back. He then screamed, "Henry!" Guarded boost. The guy in the armor now threw the stone villain back and started to bombard him with punches, and after knocked him out, he started to bulldoze through the enemy lines. Mineta. Who the hell are those guys? Izumi. Those are some of the X-Men and the number 32 hero of America, Pride One. The entire class looked in awe at the fight in front of them as they saw how the villains were thrown around like ragdolls. Shigaraki. What the hell is going on? Nomu, kill those bastards now. The bird-like creature charged forwards towards Izuku, but to everyone's surprise the Nomu was kicked away by no other than the Silver Samurai himself. Shigaraki. What the hell are you doing? Silver Samurai. This is my fight, send your creature somewhere else. Shigaraki. TCH. Nomu, kill that girl with brown and white hair. The Nomu got up again and charged at Rogue. She turned around to see the giant fist of the Nomu flying towards her face, but in a poof of smoke she was gone. Kurt. You okay, Anna? Rogue. Yes, thank you, Kurt, that was a close on. Get down. She screamed as she pulled Kurt out of the way of the Nomu's attack. But the Nomu turned around and charged again, but this time he was stopped by someone throwing a punch at its face, sending it flying backwards a few meters. Maxon. Don't you dare hurt my students, you abomination. The Nomu screamed as it charged at Maxon, and they started to throw punches at each other, and to the surprise of Shigaraki it looked like the Nomu was losing ground. Shigaraki. Come on, Nomu. You were created to kill All Might, what are you doing? Kurogiri. Young master, that man is the number 32 hero of America Pride1 and the others are members of the X-Men. Shigaraki. What the hell are they doing here? Cheaters. Hacks. While everyone was fighting their own fight, Izuku and the Silver Samurai were in their own little world, blocking each other's attacks while trying to hit the opponent. Silver Samurai. You are a worthy opponent, that for sure, but you need a lot more to defeat me. Izuku. Really? Because for me it looks like we are pretty even. Their sword clashed again, and this time Izuku took a step forwards. He let Silver Samurai's swords glide on his blade to the side, before he struck with the pommel of his katana into Silver Samurai's face. Silver Samurai's head flew backwards before he brought it down, headbutting Izuku, causing him to stumble backwards. Silver Samurai uses that opportunity to open Izuku's guard and slash at him, giving him a cut across his chest. Izuku spit up blood as he then was kicked in the chest by Silver Samurai, causing him to fly backwards. Izuku landed on his back and slowly got up, holding his chest with one hand while he held onto his sword with the other one. He got up and was on one knee holding his chest in pain while he coughed up blood. Silver Samurai. You did good, boy, but as I said, you need more to defeat me. Silver Samurai slashed at Izuku again in an attempt to end him, but he was surprised as he saw that his sword was blocked by none other than Izuku. Izuku looked up with rage in his eyes before he pushed Silver Samurai backwards, opening his guard and thrusting his katana into Silver Samurai's belly. Izuku. If you know the enemy and know yourself, you need not fear the result of 100 battles. You didn't know me, you lost. He said before he pulled his sword out again in a cut motion, giving Silver Samurai a nasty wound. Silver Samurai stumbled forward past Izuku until their backs were faced towards each other. Silver Samurai. You win. This time, Green Samurai. You are a strong enemy. It was my mistake for underestimating you. Silver Samurai walked away from Izuku and towards Shigaraki. Silver Samurai. Brat, jets go. Shigaraki. What the hell happened to you? Silver Samurai. This battle is lost, we should go before we lose more. Shigaraki. But the Nomu. Silver Samurai. He can't even win against Pride1, so he has no chance against All Might. Now let's go, because. Silver Samurai was interrupted by the booming voice of the hero who was supposed to be here, but he wasn't. All Might. We are here. On top of the stairs stood All Might together with his wife and the UA staff. Shigaraki. Fuck, we were supposed to win this, TCH. Kurogiri, get us out of here. Kurogiri opened a portal and Shigaraki and Silver Samurai walked through it, but before Silver Samurai walked through it he turned towards Izuku one last time. Silver Shroud. Until next time. And with that he walked through the portal, closing it behind him. The entire USJ was silent besides of the groans of the injured. Maxon was standing on top of a dead Nomu while he held his broken arm in pain. Henry was running around in his hero suit without his armor now, helping those who had serious injuries. Akira and Rogue helped him while Kurt was running towards Izuku. This is Henry's hero suit. Akira's suit is just like Gojo's suit. Also wanted to ask, do you want Henry also to use the weapons of the Team Fortress 2 medic or not? Kurt. Izuku. Kurt. Izuku hugged his boyfriend as his armor slowly grew back into his body, revealing his blood-soaked X-Men suit. Kurt. Izuku, you're hurt. Henry, we need you over here. Henry ran over and looked at Izuku before he put his hand on Izuku's shoulder. The wound slowly started to close, but not fully. Even so the wound wasn't closed. Izuku felt refreshed as he stood up straight, since he now could feel the pain of the cut better. Izuku. Thank you, Henry. Henry. After this, come to me, I will stitch you up. Izuku. Okay. With that, Henry ran towards Maxon to heal him, while Izuku leaned on Kurt as they made their way towards Rogue and Akira as they were stopped. Izumi. Izuku. She tried to hug him, but in a poof he was gone. Izumi. Izuku. She turned around and saw Izuku behind her standing with his friends. She stood up and walked towards him, her friends joining her, but as they came closer something unexpected happened. As Izuku saw his tormentors walking towards him, he had an idea. He knew that Shoka and Katsumi both had a crush on him, so he grabbed Kurt's chin and turned his head so that he faced him. He then leaned in and placed a small kiss on the teen's lips, shocking his tormentors and surprising his boyfriend. Kurt. What was that for? Izuku. I just wanted to kiss you. In that moment they could hear an explosion behind them. They turned around and saw a sad and angry-looking female Pomeranian flying towards them. Katsumi. How could you? She tried to throw an explosion at them but her quirk stopped working and she fell on the ground before she was captured with a scarf. Izuku looked at where the scarf came from and saw his uncle who had a few bruises and a broken nose standing there, quirk activated. Aizawa. Control yourself or I will let you stay tied up. Kurt looked at Izuku. You wanted to make her jealous, don't you? Izuku. Maybe. He then gave Kurt a quick kiss again. Izuku. Maybe not. Kurt. Now I want 2 pizzas and we are watching Hachiko. For those who don't know the movie, it plays about a dog waiting at a train station for his dead owner, one of the best movies I have ever watched. Katsumi just buried her face into the ground as she cried. Aizawa pulled his scarf back and Shoka and Izumi were by Katsumi's side trying to get her up. Shoka was also crying while Izumi and Shoto still had shock written all over their face, only Katsuki seemed to be fuming with anger. Aizawa walked over to his nephew. Aizawa. You're hurt, do you need recovery, girl? Izuku. This needs to be stitched up, so yeah, is she here? Aizawa. Yes, she is, follow me. Izuku. What about you? Aizawa. Just some bruises and cuts, nothing, I can't take care of myself. They were about to walk up the stairs until they were approached by All Might and Magnet. Izuku. Oh great, that was the last thing I needed. Inko. Izuku, my baby. Inko run towards his son. Izuku. Kurt. Okay. In a poof, Izuku, Kurt, Akira, Rogue and Aizawa stood on top of the stairs. They looked down the stairs to see a flying Inko who was expecting to hug her son land face first on the ground. Izuku. Just in time. Hello there. We came here to save our students, but it seems like you did that already for us. They turned around and saw a big white rat in a suit standing on the shoulder of a big man with white hair. Rogue. Yeah, you are very much welcome. Nezu. I am the principal of UA. My name is Nezu and you must be Izuku Yagi, also known as the Green Samurai, right? Izuku. Izuku is just fine. Aizawa. We need recovery, girl, he needs to be stitched up. Nezu. Of course she is coming together with the ambulance. All Might. Izuku, my boy. Izuku was getting angry slowly as he turned around, seeing his old family and tormentors approaching him. Izuku. What do you need, Yagi? All Might was shocked to hear his son calling him by his last name instead of dad. Izumi. Why are you calling dad, Yagi, instead of dad, Izuku? Izuku. Because that is his name, isn't it? Izumi. But he is our dad. Izuku. Correction, he is your dad, this is your family, not mine. The only family I know are my friends by the X-Men and maybe Uncle Aizawa. Aizawa's eyes light up as he heard that Izuku was still considering him as family. While the rest was shocked hearing that he doesn't consider them as family anymore, the people who didn't know anything about their familiar situation stood there watching what was happening right in front of them. Only one found this behavior very disrespectful. Iida. That is no way to talk to your father like that, who is also the #1 hero and is a hero yourself. Asterisk demonic hand chopping. Izuku. Shut up, Four Eyes. Keep your nose out of things you don't understand, if you don't want to end up like one of those villains down there. Iida took a step back as Izuku looked at him with anger in his eyes. Kurt. Izuku, please calm down, before you lose control over your powers and think about your wound. Izuku. I try, but it's pretty hard to stay calm when they are around, babe. Inko. Babe. Izuku. Yeah, he is my boyfriend, now fuck off. Inko. Young man, don't use such vulgar language against your family and you break up with him, we didn't raise you to be gay. Before Inko could say another word, she was met with a punch to the face. The punch sended her flying down the stairs. Everyone was shocked to see a hero from the top 10 flying down the stairs by one punch, and everyone was more shocked as they saw who it was, even Izuku himself. Aizawa. Raised him, you did nothing in that matter, he had to raise himself and now you dare to try to force your way into his life. You may be my sister, but I am pretty sure that mom and dad never raised us to be neglective or homophobe. Izuku. Now leave me alone or the next time it's my sword instead of his fist. With that, Izuku turned around and started to walk away by himself, followed by a worried Kurt and his friends. Aizawa stood behind for a minute before turning around walking after his nephew. As they were walking, Izuku slowed down, so he was walking besides his uncle. Izuku. Thank you, Uncle Zawa. Aizawa. No problem. Problem, child. All Might and Izumi run down the stairs to help their mother and wife. While that was happening, Maxon and Henry came walking up the stairs. Henry. Ooh, what ju happened? Maxon. No idea. Nezu. Ah, you are the military hero. Pridewin, right? Maxon. Yes sir, and you are Nezu, principal of UA, right? Nezu. Yes, I wanted to ask, do you want to stay for today or are you going back directly? Maxon. If it isn't too much work then we would like to stay for the night or at least until the other teams have arrived. Nezu. I understand, the ambulance is just outside if you need it. Henry. Oh right, I nearly forgot, I need to stitch up Izuku. Henry run out of the USJ towards the ambulance. Nezu. You have strong students. Maxon. I know, but they are also a lot of work. Nezu. Maxon. Who sended that green bitch flying down the stairs by the way? No one Pav. Izuku spend the night in the infirmary of UA together with Kurt. Even so, Kurt wasn't hurt, he just wanted to stay with Izuku. Izuku slowly opened his eyes as he felt something nuzzling into his side. He looked to his left and saw Kurt cuddled into Izuku, lightly snoring while he slept. Izuku smiled as he leaned down and kissed Kurt on the top of his head as he smiled at his boyfriend. Just then Izuku could hear a squeal coming from the door. Izuku shoos the person so that they wouldn't wake up Kurt. Izuku then looked towards the door and saw most of his friends standing there. Izuku in a whispering voice. Hey guys, what's up? Kitty. We came here to see how you are and if you two are up, but we didn't expect it to walk into something as cute as this. Izuku blushed embarrassed. Stop it. Rogue. It's true so. The team started to talk with each other but in a volume that wouldn't wake up Kurt. Meanwhile, we can see the UA staff sitting in the meeting room of UA looking over the video footage of the USJ. Nezu. How did they manage to cut our communication? Snipe. No idea, sir. Just then they saw Izuku's wood ball crashing through the roof. They see how the ball opens and reveals Izuku, who then charges through the villains with his naginata towards Silver Samurai. Smentos. He is strong, he runs through them like they are nothing. Aizawa. The Green Samurai is on a complete other strength level than those villains. They probably were just hired to slow us down so that the creature they called Nomu could take down All Might. Nezu. That is possible, but even when All Might would have won that fight they also had Silver Samurai there, so All Might wouldn't have stood a chance. Just then a purple ball hit the center of the villains, sending them flying as another figure jumped down and started to charge through the villains. All Might. Who is that? Nezu. That is Arthur Maxon, also known as the military hero. Pride when he is the number 32 hero of America. All Might. Wasn't that beast designed to fight me? How could he defeat it? Aizawa. Simple. Maxon's quirk is called Brawler and it's actually is a combination of 4 quirks. His quirk is considered one of the strongest quirks in the world. He also is one of the most active heroes in the world, even so he is a teacher and husband. All Might. 4 quirks. Aizawa. He got a combination of his parents' and grandparents' quirks, so don't get any ideas. All Might sat down but he didn't believe it. Nobody can be born with 4 quirks, right? They continued to watch the fight as All Might saw a white-haired person. All Might. Who is that? She kind of looks familiar. Nezu looks into a file he pulled out of nowhere. That is Akira Tagata. Present Mike. Wait, you mean Tagata like Mirio Tagata, one of the big 3s? Nezu. Yes, she is the younger brother of Mr. Tagata. Inko. What is her quirk? It looks extremely powerful. Nezu looked through the file. Nezu. It looks like she doesn't have one. Midnight. What? Nezu. Here is stated that Mr. Tagata is quirkless. Inko. But how is she doing that then? Aizawa. Are we just gonna ignore that? You say she, even so she is a he. Midnight looked with a deadpan face at Aizawa. Aizawa. What? Midnight. She is obviously transgender or else she wouldn't be looking like that. Aizawa just sighed as he hit the table with his head. Nezu. Anyways, we could ask Mirio Tagata, maybe he has an answer. Everyone nodded as Nezu called for Mirio. 10 minutes later the leader of the big 3 came walking through the door. Mirio. You called for me, sir. Nezu. Yes, we did. We would like to ask you about your younger brother Akira. Mirio. Oh, okay. I will try to answer them, but it has been a while since I last talked with Akira, so don't expect many answers. All Might. The questions aren't hard. You know that your brother was the USJ. Mirio. Yes. All Might. We know that your brother is quirkless, but on the camera footage we can see that he uses one. Do you have explanation? Mirio. Ooh, that isn't a quirk. Inko. What do you mean by that? The video footage shows that she is using some kind of energy quirk. Mirio. It's not a quirk, but Akira has mutant powers. Midnight. You mean like the X-Men? Mirio. Yes, but Akira isn't a part of them. All Might. What can she do with her powers? Mirio. It's called energy manipulation. She can see the energy from quirks and mutant powers of others and shape it so that she can use it. Inko. So she steals their powers. Mirio. No, as much as I know it is more like she copies it and shapes it so she can use it. Nezu. Okay, thank you Mr. Tagata, you may leave now. Mirio left the room. as soon as he stepped out of the room and closed the door behind him. Akira. What did you tell them? Mirio. What the? Akira. Don't be so loud. Mirio. Sorry, I just told them what I know about your powers, they didn't ask for anything else. Akira. Good. Akira turned around and started to walk away. Mirio. Akira, wait. Akira just vanished in front of him even before he could finish his sentence. Mirio. I am sorry. All Might Pav. She must have something to do with All for One, her powers are just too similar to his. I must find out, but how? Maybe a fight, but I can't fight her, it would be too obvious. Maybe Endeavor, he is strong enough, yes, that is how we do it. Time skip. Izuku. Kurt and his team were walking through the streets of Musudafu. Izuku. I am having a deja vu. Kurt. Can we go to Japanese castle? I always wanted to see one. Izuku. The next castle is a few hours away from here, maybe another time. Kurt pouted a little but didn't said anything. Henry. Can we go to a sweet store? I am interested what kind of taste the Japanese in sweets have. Izuku. Oh yeah, I know a good one is just around that corner, follow me. Izuku led the way to the store, but as he walked around the corner. Akira. Yo, Izuku. Wah. Izuku fell on his butt as his friends came around the corner. Rogue. What is going on? Izuku. What the hell, Akira, you scared the living shit out of me. Akira. Hee, sorry about that. Henry. What do you need, Akira? Akira. I need Izuku. Kurt. Why? Akira. I just need to teach him something. Akira all of a sudden was behind Izuku and lifted him over her shoulder. Akira. Let's go. Izuku. Why, T. Izuku looked around to see that he wasn't with his friends anymore, but instead he was in some kind of battle arena, and on the other side of the arena stood Izuku. Endeavor. Enji. Izuku. Akira. You know each other good, sorry but I had to bring him here so that he can learn how to improve his powers anyways. She pulled down her sunglasses a little bit so that Endeavor could see her eyes. Akira. Shall we continue? Endeavor. Gra. Just imagine Itadori as Izuku, Gojo as Akira and Jago as Endeavor, also she doesn't rip his head off, just knocks him out. Also I know I could have wrote this fight but I was too lazy, please forgive me. Izuku just sat there in awe as Akira defeated his uncle like it was nothing. Akira. You are not weak, Izuku, but if you learn how to control your powers to the fullest then you can do shit like this. Izuku. That was awesome, Akira. Then All Might jumped into the arena followed by the UA staff as they helped Endeavor up. All Might. Young Tagata, do you mind telling me how you did that? Izuku put one hand on the ground as he got up slowly. Akira. My energy manipulation allowed me to see the energy of his quirk, I reshaped it and used it so it was easier to fight against him. All Might. So you basically kind of took his quirk. Akira. Well, I more like copied it and shaped it to something else. All Might slowly walked closer. All Might. Tell me, do you ever heard of All for One? Akira thought for a few seconds. Akira. Nope, not that I could remember. All Might continued to walk towards Akira. All Might. All for One is a villain that is able to steal quirks and combine it similar to your powers. While Akira tilted her head in confusion, Izuku caught on the fact that All Might tried to accuse one of his friends of working together with such a villain started to make him angry. Then all of a sudden All Might jumped towards Akira, fist ready to punch. Akira didn't reacted fast enough, but before the punch could connect, a wooden wall came out of the ground shielding Akira. All Might punched the wall only to see that he didn't broke through. All Might. Where did that wall came from and why didn't it break? Izuku. This wall is made out of diamond nut and oak wood, two extremely hard wood species. Izuku walked towards All Might as his armor started to cover him as he then jumped at All Might. One day later, X-Men Mansion. Xavier. So mind explaining to me why All Might had to go to the hospital, Izuku? Izuku. In my defense, I was left unsupervised. Maxon. Wasn't Akira with you? Akira. In my defense, I was also left unsupervised. Rest of the X-Men. No one Pav. It has been a week since the USJ and Izuku was seen training on the grass in front of the X-Men mansion. His eyes were closed as he concentrated on the ground beneath him. Jiz. What is he doing? Kurt. He tries to turn the grass into the same metal as his weapons are made of. Nikki. Why, Evan. He has an idea for a special move, where he turns the grass into his metal and then he wants to control it, let it grow and shoot it at his opponent. Tom. Would be cool to see. Luciano. He is kind of stiff. Arena. Maybe he needs to relax. Rogue. Shinso, could you do something? Shinso. Maybe, wait a second. Shinso looked at Izuku, focusing his calming part of his powers on Izuku. Izuku visibly relaxed, and as soon as he did, the grass underneath him and in a 5-meter radius turned into the green glowing metal Izuku was known for. Izuku opened his eyes and looked at the training puppet in front of him. He lifted his hand up in a fist over his head as if he was about to give the fire order to the artillery. The grass that turned into metal began to grow and grow until it was a head taller than Izuku. Izuku then opened his fist and brought his hand down in a chopping motion. The grass shoot forward, growing in extreme speed. The grass hit the target, going right through the puppet. Izuku pulled his hand back as if he was pulling something. The grass grew back to his former length and turned into normal grass again, as he began to cheer. Tom. Wow. Nikki. Impressive. Akira. Not bad, but he needs to train it more. Henry. It was a good start though. Izuku turned around as he heard voices behind him. He looked confused as he saw his whole class plus his boyfriend. Izuku. What are you guys doing here? Tom. You don't remember. Nikki. We said we would all train together today. Izuku. Oh yeah, I completely forgot. Flashback. Maxon walked into the class as the students hurried to their seats, sitting down silently and waiting for Maxon to begin the class. Maxon waited a few minutes until it was so silent that you could hear a needle fall. Maxon. So as some of you know, Babel High is known for its competitions against other hero schools. Maxon made a pause for a few seconds until he continued. Maxon. Normally Babel is the one to challenge another school, but this year is different as this time a school challenged us. Nikki held up her hand. Maxon. Yes, Miss Ray. Nikki. Who and why would someone challenge us? Maxon. Why? Because they want to see who is the strongest, and to who that would be Ua, and they challenged this class especially. Henry. Ha, they probably are angry that we kicked ass while they stood around like a bunch of noobs. Izuku. I kind of think there is another reason. Kurt. You don't think? Maxon. Anyways, we will join them in on their sport festival, so you better train. I don't want to be embarrassed by you. Maxon made a pause again, before turning to the blackboard. Maxon. Anyways, let's continue with our work. Flashback end. Luciano. And after that we agreed to meet here and train together. Jiz. Yes, but as we arrived here we saw you already training. Tom. A question: which time did you start training today? Izuku. 5 a.m. I couldn't sleep. Why? Tom. You are still wearing your pajama pants. Izuku looked down and saw that he wore no shirt and was only in pants. He then ran past his classmate towards his room. His classmates and friends just looked after him as he ran into the mansion. Akira. So we are not gonna talk about the hickey on his neck. Kurt turned bright red while the rest of the class began to laugh besides Evans. Evans. You know, next time you do it, keep it quiet please. Everyone went silent after that. Everyone's eyes widened besides Evans before they all stared at Kurt. By now he was red glow stick. Then in a puff he teleported away. Akira with popcorn in her hand. That turns out better than I thought. Meanwhile in Japan. Katsumi. You will think that works. Izumi. Yes, if we manage to awaken our quirks then we should have a good chance against Izuku and his classmates. Katsuki. Those bastards wouldn't stand a chance against us even with us not awakening our quirks. We only saw 5 of them fighting. We don't even know how strong the rest of them are. I would say besides those 5 we saw we shouldn't have to worry. Author. Oh, how wrong you are, dear Katsuki. He. Back to Izuku and his class. Akira. Don't you two want to do something? Tom. I couldn't sleep tonight. My insomnia kept me awake. Shinso. Me too. Luciano. Can you at least show off or something? Tom just looked up tired before looking at the forest. Then a blue crystalline bow appeared in his hand and a quiver from the same material on his back. He then took an arrow out of the quiver, put on the string of the bow before he pulled it back, and with a lazy yawn he let go of the string. The arrow flew, but nobody saw at what Tom was aiming. But before anyone could ask, a scream was heard as a boy with frog-like features fell off a tree. He jumped up and looked angry at Tom. Do you want to kill me? Tom. Calm down, I extra aimed right so that I don't give you a headshot. Evans. Toad. Kitty. What are you doing here? Toad. Hey, nothing. Eek. Toad was grabbed from behind by a figure as he and the figure ran into the woods, vanishing. Henry. Who was the other guy? Rogue. From the size, I guess it was Blob. Nikki. Who is that? Evans. The fat guy from class 1B. Nikki. Ooh, so that's why that guy looked so familiar. Akira. Also good shot, Tom. Tom. I should have put the arrow between his ugly eyes, would have looked better. Rogue. That sounds like you have unfinished business with him. Tom. Because I have. Maybe I will tell you in the future. Akira. Question. Has anybody seen Kurt and Izuku? Kitty. Yeah, I haven't seen them since Kurt teleported away, as Evans said, you know. Rogue. Yeah, I know. Evans. You heard it too right. Akira. Izuku, let the blue bean alone. No one Pav. It has been 2 weeks since the competition between UA and Babel was announced. Class 1A and 1B from Babel against all of UA's courses. As the class arrived yesterday, they were kind of anxious, but as soon as they walked into UA, they saw that they had no reason to be afraid. No one of them can hold a candle to them, besides maybe that red-haired boy from UA's class 1A. He looked really determined to not lose easily. Babel's 2 classes 1A and 1B got their own locker rooms, and that is where they were at the moment. Izuku watching a video about Tiger Kung Fu, a Kung Fu style Izuku immediately fell in love with, as he saw it the first time 3 weeks ago in a video. Since then he watched every teaching video he could find about so he could copy it with his quirk. Akira. You know Izuku. Izuku. Huh, Akira. You may not be the strongest with your mutant powers yet, but you are definitely a master when it comes to your quirk. Izuku. My quirk isn't hard to control or anything, the only hard thing is the headaches I get when I learn too much. Tom. I know how you feel. If I use my supercomputer powers for too long I get a migraine. I have some painkillers with me if you need some. Izuku. Thank you, Tom. Also what do you want? Tom. What? Izuku. Not you them. Izuku pointed behind Tom. Tom and the rest of the class turned towards the door and saw a group of 5 standing in their door. Izumi. Oni-chan, could we talk? Izuku. We have nothing to talk about, Yagi, that we couldn't talk in front of my friends. The X-men in the room stood left and right from Izuku, who was sitting on a bench leaning forward, elbows on his knees. The rest of his class just looked darkly at the intruders. The 5 tormentors felt a cold shiver going down their spine as the entirety of Babel 1A was staring them down. Even Katsuki gulped at the cold stares of the class. Izuku. So, what do you want? I am waiting. Izumi gulped. We wanted to make a bet. Izuku. A bet. Akira. As much as I know you 5, what isn't a lot, I say it's something stupid. Henry. Hey Akira, I bet $20 that the bet has something to do with forgiveness. Akira. I bet that the bet is about coming back to them. Kurt. Guys. Izuku stood up and walked towards the door, a cold aura coming off of him. The tormentors took a step back as Izuku holded right in front of them. Izuku. You have 1 minute. Izumi. If. Izuku. If. Katsuki. If we beat you at the sport festival, we want you to consider forgiving us. Izuku. Consider forgiving you, not to forgive you. Shoka. We know that that wouldn't work, we just want you to consider forgiving us even if you maybe never forgive us. Izuku. Consider forgiving you. Izumi. Katsumi. Katsuki. TCH. Shoto. Shoka. Izuku. I don't know if I should be impressed by your bravery to ask me that, or enraged by your stupidity. Izumi. We just want a chance. Izuku. You had a lot of chances over the years while I was here in Japan, but you choose to continue to beat me, bully me, but okay. Izumi. Huh, Izuku. I take your bet, but if you lose you never will approach or talk to me and my friends again. Do we have a deal? Izumi. We have. Izumi held out her hand for a shake. Izuku grabbed her hand and shaked it. He grabbed it so hard that Izumi flinched before saying, Izuku. Now get out of my eyes. Izuku let go off Izumi's and who pulled it back, holding it in pain. Izumi nodded before she turned left and walked away, followed by her friends. Shoka and Katsumi looked at Izuku for a brief moment before they followed Izumi. Izuku just looked after them as they turned around a corner. As he was about to close the door, he saw a girl leaning against the wall in front of him. She had black skin, with some kind of white war paint on her face. She had a blue-purple suit, blackish golden suit. That was quite a show. Izuku. Who are you? Oh, I am Shuri. Izuku. Shuri. Akira. Shuri. Akira ran past Izuku hugging the girl while Izuku fell on his butt. Now everyone of their class besides Tom looked confused at Akira and the newcomer. Izuku got up from the ground before he approached them. Izuku. Akira, you know her? Akira looked at Izuku before answering. Akira. Oh yeah, I should introduce you all. Akira. This is Shuri, she is the princess of Wakanda and my girlfriend. Everyone, Tom. Girlfriend. Tom. Jesus, stop screaming like that. Akira. Oh hey Tom, how are you doing? Tom. Pretty good for now at least, how are you doing? Akira. I am fine as well, good to see you again. Tom. You too. Nikki. You two know each other. Shuri. Yeah, Tom. It's a long story. Jiz. Ooh, I love stories. Tom. I will tell you, when I feel like it. Arena. Oh come on, just tell us. Tom. No, Arena. Please. Tom. No, Akira. Arena, leave Tom alone, he will tell his story when he feels like it. Arena. But he never feels like it, he always says when I feel like it and does nothing. Tom just looked at the ground before sighting, he then walked past his class out of the room. Tom. What are you waiting for? The festival will start soon. Luciano. Huh, but they said they would call. Present mic over intercom. Could all participants please come to the field? The festival is about to begin. Akira. Come on everyone, it's time to go. I will see you later, babe. Shiru. Yeah, just don't go too hard on them. Akira. Ha ha ha, you know that I never go easy. Akira said, kissing her girlfriend on the lips before she followed her class. In the arena. Present mic. Hello and welcome to this year's UA Sports Festival, can I get a yeah? The entire stadium cheered before Present mic continued. Present mic. Now before I introduce the classes, I wanted to say that this year's sports festival is gonna be a special one, because this year the classes 1A and 1B from Bayville High are gonna join us. Please welcome class 1A and 1B from Bayville High. The stadium erupted into cheers and applause as the two classes walked through the gate with their green and yellow colored pay uniforms. They walked to the middle of the arena and stopped in front of the stage. Random hero. Wait, isn't that Green Samurai? Random person. Yeah, and some of the X-Men's are here as well. Present mic. And now to our classes. First, the class that survived a villain attack. Please welcome class 1A from UA's hero course. The stadium applauded and cheered as UA's class 1A walked out on the field. Henry. They survived because we were there. Izuku. Just let it be. I am gonna skip the rest of the introductions. Midnight. And now please a few words from the person that scored first place in the entrance exam. Katsuki Bakugo. The stadium applauded while Katsuki walked up the stage and Midnight gave him the microphone. Katsuki. I pledge, I'll be number one. Izuku. I knew he'd do that. People were booing at Katsuki but he just tch at them and walked down the stage. Then Midnight continued her speech and then pointed at Akira. Midnight. And now please a few words from the representative from Bayville, Akira Tagata. Akira just cited as she walked up the stairs of the stage. Midnight then gave her the microphone. Akira. I don't have much to say. I guess good luck to anyone and everyone that stands here in the arena that are sitting here. Good luck to those who are watching from home and to all those who wants to be heroes. Never let anybody tell you what you can and what you can't do, because if you really want to be hero then you will become one, but if you not give your all then you will have no chance in this world. This world is cruel but everyone from us can change it to the better, even if it is only through little things. Everyone has the power to change the world and that is a fact. Akira gave the microphone back to Midnight as she walked down the stage while the people in the stands applauded and cheered. Even the students from UA cheered besides 5. Kirishima. That was so manly. Izuku. Good speech, Akira. Akira. Thank you. Midnight. Thanks for this inspirational speech, Miss Tagata. Now let's start with this festival, shall we? The crowd cheered as a spinning wheel appeared besides Midnight. Midnight. Now let's see what the first competition will be. Midnight spinned the wheel. It spinned for 2 minutes as it slowly came to a hold and it holded on. Midnight. Our first challenge will be an obstacle course. No one pav. Every student stood in front of the tunnel that leads to the obstacle course ready to run in as soon as the signal was given. Everyone was shoving each other or trying to get in front of all in an attempt to be the first through the tunnel. The only ones who were more relaxed were the students from Bayville. A certain blue-skinned boy also didn't look faced at all. Henry. Man, if they keep shoving each other like this then they will run out of energy even before the run starts. Arena. Do you think Najire-chan is looking? Nikki. The girl you have a crush on. Arena. Yeah, she is the cutest thing in existence. Tom. Can you stop being all lovely dovely and focus? Arena. Ma, I will just run through them so no problem. Henry. I can just bulldoze right through them. Kitty. Same like Arena. Evan. Same like Henry. Jiz. I can just turn my body into wind so I am good. Luciano. Well, I have to run like any other normal person. Nikki. Same here, or I eat someone's energy so that I can use their quirk or power. Nikki looks at Jiz. Jiz. Don't you dare. Akira. This should be easy. Izuku. Don't say that, it brings bad luck to underestimate your enemy. Kurt. Hee. Present mic. Everyone ready. Everyone got ready as the shoving got harder and everyone tried to push the other person out of the way. Midnight. Go. Izuku. Henry and Evans covered themselves with their armor as they started to run, but they stopped as they saw that the crowd was being frozen to the ground. Izuku. Typical Todoroki twins. Izuku just started to run again, followed by Evans and Henry as they collided with the crowd. They just bulldozed through them. After a few seconds they were through the crowd and now were closing in on the Bakugo twins. Katsuki looked behind him and his eyes widened as he saw 3 armored guys running after them and that they were closing in fast. Katsuki and Katsumi made more explosions in an attempt to gain distance again, but then there was a strong wind that caused the flying twins to lose balance and fall to the ground. Katsumi. What the? Katsuki. Fuck. Jiz. Sorry about that. Jiz said as she flew by. Her body was made out of wind, her legs were replaced by Jin-looking tail and she was looked through, only her contours were visible. She then flew ahead, catching up to Izumi and the Todorokis. As the Bakugo twins were getting up, Izuku, Henry and Evan sprinted past them. Katsuki. Oh hell no. The Bakugos got up and started to use their explosions again in an attempt to catch up. Katsumi. Come on. But they were quickly overtaken by other people. Akira. See you later. Nikki. That is supposed to be hard. A arrow with a rope flew past them as a redhead was flying past them. Tom. Easy. Luciano. Arena, come on, your last. Arena. No, I am not. Kurt is. Shinso. Kurt is last. That makes no sense. Kurt then stood in front of them as they ran past. Kurt. I know, right? He said before he teleported away. Rogue. Kurt, that is unfair. Kurt. Well, what can I say? He teleported again in front of them. Kurt. This is just me. He then teleported again before appearing again, but this time on Izuku's back, startling the teen. Izuku. What the? Kurt. Hey babe. Izuku. Kurt, where are you coming from? Kurt. Really? You know my powers. Also robot in front of you. Izuku. Huh. Izuku just dodged an attack from a zero-pointer robot as he created a no-dachi and cut through the fist of the next robot. Izuku. Hey, can you get off me, Kurt? Kurt. No. Izuku. How does being on my back doesn't hurt? I am in a freaking wood armor. Kurt. Because you are my boyfriend and you can't hurt me. Izuku. I swear if you have a splinter by the end of this, don't come to me. Kurt. You are so mean, Izuku. Izuku made a jump as they arrived at the canyon obstacle. He jumped over the edge and towards the first platform. Izuku. Kurt, get off me now. We can cuddle when this is over. Kurt. But I don't want to. Izuku. Get off or I will get the paddle. Kurt. Okay, I get off, meanie. Izuku. Love you too. Kurt then teleported away before turning up again at the finish line of the obstacle course. Present Mike. Huh, what is that? It looks like someone already arrived. That was fast. Aizawa. That is Kurt Wagner. His mutant power is teleportation and his quirk is called Blue Demon. Present Mike. Isn't that cheating? Aizawa. No, we allowed them to use their quirks and powers and he teleported through the course, so he wasn't cheating. Present Mike. What is he waiting for? Why isn't he just walking over the line? Just then we can see the first people running through the tunnel. Izuku, Henry, Evans, Jiz and Akira, shortly followed by Tom, who had another rope arrow already loaded. Jiz was the first one to see Kurt. Jiz. Kurt, please no. Tom shot his arrow and it landed shortly before the finish line as it started to pull Tom towards it. Kurt made sure that Izuku saw him before he took a step back and took first place. Present Mike. And the winner of the first challenge is Kurt Wagner from Babel's High Class 1A. Then Tom came flying through the gate, followed by Jiz, Izuku, Henry, Akira and Evans. Present Mike. Second place is Tom Redwing, followed by Jessica Thompson. Those are the three winners of the obstacle course. The crowd cheered as the rest of the contestants crossed the finish line. Kurt meanwhile walked over to his boyfriend as his armor grew back. Kurt. I win. Izuku. You played with me. Kurt. Hee hee. Ha. Izuku hugged his boyfriend before whispering something in his ear. Izuku. The paddle it is. Kurt. No. Unknown location in the USA. Mother. Look at this. Mother. What is it, Gabriel? Gabriel. I think I saw Tina. Mother. Huh, where is she? Gabriel. Look at the TV. Mother looked at the TV as she saw what was on it. Mother. What did I say about watching people use their devil power for fun? Gabriel. Those powers are given by the devil and people that use them are giving their soul to the devil. I know, but look there. Gabriel pointed at a boy with red hair and neon blue eyes. Mother. Those are definitive Tina's eyes. Gabriel. Not only that, she also has the same devil power as Tina. Mother. But why does she look like this? She looks like a boy. Gabriel. I don't know, but what is more is that she uses her devil powers. Mother. Oh my god. Gabriel. This is bad, Mother. Mother. Get your father. We have to get her. We need to save her. Gabriel. Yes, Mother. Gabriel ran out of the room. As Mother looked at the screen, seeing a close-up shot of Tom, she cried and fell to her knees before screaming. Mother. The devil got my little girl. No one, Pav. Kurt. Please help me. Izuku. I kind of expected something like this. Tom. That is cruel. Luciano. 10.000.000. Damn Kurt, they will be after you like wild dogs. Kurt. Please be in my team. Hurst says while shaking Akira. Akira. I think that would be kind of unfair considering that Izuku is already in your team. Tom. Hey Shinso, do you want to join my team? Shinso. Sure, why not? Henry. I go with Kurt and Izuku. Kurt. Yes, thank you Henry. Can I also join you? Kurt and Izuku turned around and saw a boy with a UA gym uniform and a bird head. The name is Fumikage Tokiyami. Kurt. Wait, aren't you the one with the shadow quirk? Tokiyami. Yeah, hey, Izuku, Kurt and Henry. Huh. A bird-like shadow came out of Fumikage's body. I have a name too. Kurt. It talks. Hey, I am not a it, I am a he, come on Fumi, introduce me. Tokiyami. Sigh, this is Dark Shadow, he is my quirk. Izuku. I never saw a talking quirk. Tokiyami. Dark Shadow has his own mind. Henry. That is very interesting. Kurt. Yeah, anyways, you are in. Tokiyami. Thank you for your trust. 10 minutes later, the last people found their group and Midnight announced that the cavalry battle will start in a few minutes. Kurt. Okay, how are we gonna do this? Izuku. I could make a wooden dome where we are safe until the time runs out. Tokiyami. I could defend the spots of the dome where they could break through with Dark Shadow, and because we are in a dark place, Dark Shadow should be stronger than normal. Henry. As long as there is no light. I could give us a boost so you can create a stronger dome. Izuku also. Kurt, as soon as the dome starts to break, teleport us away, they will be so occupied with breaking that on dome that we can easily avoid them and create a new one. Tokiyami. Sound like a good plan. Izuku. I agree. Kurt. Good, then let's get ready guys. Midnight. Okay everyone, the cavalry battle will begin in 10. Katsuki. We will go for Deku's team first. Midnight. 9. Katsumi. I want to hurt that blue asshole so bad. Midnight. 8 inches. Shoto. Everyone is aiming for them, I don't know if that is the best idea. Midnight. 7 inches. Shoka. Why is Fumikage with them? Midnight. 6 inches. Akira. I think the best way to win this is to hold on to our points. Midnight. 5 inches. Tom. Yeah, but it is always good to have more points. Midnight. 4. Shinso. Agreed. Midnight. 3. Izumi. I think we should go for another team, it looks like Oni-chan is planning something. Midnight. 2. Katsuki. We are going for Deku first. Midnight. 1. Every team got ready. Midnight. Go. Most teams charged at Izuku's team, but before they could reach them the team was covered with a wooden dome, causing most of the teams to crash into the dome. Izumi. I knew it. Katsuki. Fuck, we were so close. Tom. Akira. Shinso. May there is a team to our left. Akira. Let's get them. Jiz. Nikki. Arena. Evan's team's on our right. Nikki. Understood. Monoma. Itsuka, break open the dome. Itsuka. I am trying. Monoma. Tetsu, help he. Monoma was stopped as he felt how someone ripped of the band that was on his head. Luciano. Sorry about that, but I need that more than you. Iida. Ochako. Ochako activated her quirk on her team and Iida activated his quirk, sending them flying away from danger. Kirishima. How many points did he have? Luciano. Only 50. Iida. Who should we go after next? Luciano. Look, that team over there with that black guy has 100 points. Kirishima. Yosh, let's get him. Inside the wooden dome. Tokiyami. This works better than I thought. Henry. Yeah, but am I the only one who starts to feel warm? Kurt. No, I can feel it, it's getting warmer. Izuku. The Todorokis are probably using their fire on us, it's only a matter of time until Katsuki, Katsumi or Izumi are coming through the wall. Kurt. Sold, we teleport. Izuku. Yes. Kurt. Okay everyone, hold on to me. Outside the wooden dome. Izumi. Okay, that is enough. Katsuki now. Izumi and Katsuki jumped towards the dome, sending a powerful punch and explosion towards the strongly burned side of the dome. The dome cracked open and Izumi and Katsuki smirked, but as soon as the dust settled their eyes grew as they saw that Izuku and his team was gone. Katsuki looked around furiously while Izumi just facepalmed. Izumi. I forgot that the blue guy can teleport. Katsuki. Where are they? All teams that were around the dome looked around until they not one but two wooden domes. Shoto. You have to be kidding me. Katsumi. In which one are they? Izumi. That is irrelevant now. We barely have enough points to get to the next round and we only have 10 minutes left, we need to get more points. Just then a high-pitched scream was heard. Izumi, Katsuki and Shoto looked towards Katsumi and Shoka's team and saw how their headbands were literally going through Katsumi's head as someone pulled it from behind. Kitty. Sorry but I need this. Rogue touched Shoka's cheek and stole her quirk to create an ice wall between them. Arena. Kitty, Rogue and Zero then ran away as fast as they could. Zero. That was awesome. Rogue. How much do we have? Kitty. 150. Arena. Heck yeah. They heard explosion behind them. Kitty turned around and saw that Katsumi's team was hot on their tail. Kitty. Arena time to go ghost. Arena. Understood. Arena and Kitty used their powers on her and the team and they went transparent just as Katsumi was about to hit them. Katsumi fell through them and onto the floor as Kitty's team continued to run. Zero. That must have hurt. After that the teams of Katsumi, Shoka, Katsuki, Shoto and Izumi concentrated their force on stealing the headbands of other people. Katsumi also tried again to get their headbands back from Kitty but it didn't work. After another 5 minutes it was over. Midnight. And it is over. Many teams fell to the floor, some crying as they realized that they didn't made it. One of the wooden domes opened and disappeared into the ground and Izuku's team came out. Present Mike. In first place with 10.000.000 points is Team Wagner. Kurt. We did it. Izuku. Well it wasn't hard. Tokiyami and Henry. It was easy. Present Mike. In second place with 1240 points is Team Redwing. Akira. Easy. Tom. Good work everyone. Shinso. It was easier than I thought. May. Well that is probably because you three are literally op. Present Mike. In third place with 975 points is Team Pride. Kitty. Hell yeah. Present Mike. In fourth place is Team Thompson and in fifth is Team Oscuro and in sixth place and the last team that will participate in the last competition is Team Yagi. Izumi. Yes. Shot. That was close. Katsuki. Sixth place. Gura. Katsumi. We lost. Shoka. We did. They see Kurt hugging Izuku and they look down with tears in their eyes, both sharing one thought. Shoka and Katsumi thoughts. He should be comforting me. No one pav. We can see Izuku and his class sitting at their section of the stands as they were waiting for the battle part to begin. Kurt and Izuku were sitting besides each other as Kurt rested his head on Izuku's shoulder while Izuku was scrolling through his phone. Kurt. I am bored. Izuku. The last part will begin soon. Kurt, just be patient. Kurt. But it's boring. Luciano. Shut up. Here are some people who want to take a nap. Kurt. Sorry Luciano. Luciano grumbled something as he tried to go back to sleep. Akira. What is up with him? Jiz. He just used his powers for too long. He gets angrier when he uses them for too long. Akira. Hoi Shinso, can't you do something about that? Shinso. I can. Shinso stood up and looked at Luciano for a few seconds and then sat down again. Shinso. Done. Nikki. That was fast. Shinso. Just calming and repairing his mindset. It took less effort than I thought it would. Henry. How long does it usually take? Shinso. Well, that depends on the person. I mean, it will take much longer to repair the mind of a madman like Deadpool than of a sane person like Luciano. It's his powers that make him angry, not his mind, so it makes it even easier. Then Present Mike announced the fights and Kurt shot up as he heard who he is going to fight. Kurt. Why am I up against Akira? Izuku. Damn babe, you got it bad. Kurt. Oh no shit. Akira. Oh come on Kurt, it's going to be fun. Kurt. For you, not for me. Kitty. Looks like you get the opportunity to beat the shit out of the person you hate the most, Izuku. Izuku just nodded as a cocky smirk appeared on his face. Izuku. This is going to be fun. Izuku Yagi vs. Katsuki Bakugo. First fight. Eijiro Kirishima vs. Tetsu. Present Mike. For the first fight we have the two hard guys from Class 1A and 1B, Eijiro Kirishima and Tetsu. The stadium cheered as the two fighters walked into the ring. Tetsu hit his fists together while Kirishima cracked his knuckles. Tetsu. You are going down. Kirishima. We will see about that. Midnight. Fighters ready. Begin. Tetsu charged at Kirishima and as he was in reach he threw a punch at the red-haired boy. Kirishima just stepped out of the way. Kirishima then came with a hardened left hook and punched Tetsu in the face, and even so his face was hardened he still stumbled to the side. Kirishima then followed up with a right hook to his stomach followed by a kick to his side. Tetsu put both of his feet on the ground and put up a guard as he made ready to counterattack Kirishima, but that was cut short as Kirishima ran in front of him pulling his fist back and with a twist of the hips he punched forward. Kirishima. Bazooka. The punch connected with Tetsu's metal-hardened arms, and with the sound of a whip cracking, Tetsu was sent flying backwards. Everyone was surprised, to say the least. Everyone actually thought that this would be a pretty even fight, but apparently it wasn't, as Kirishima seemed to destroy Tetsu with little to no effort. Tetsu was laying on his back and he wasn't moving. Midnight walked over to him to see if he was okay. Midnight. Tetsu from Class 1B is unconscious. Eijiro Kirishima from Class 1A wins this round. The stadium cheered for the red-haired boy. Some pro heroes had an impressed face while others smirked, knowing who they will send to internship invitation. Class 1A on the other hand was shocked because Kirishima never showed that much power during training. Ojiro. Did he awaken his quirk? Momo. But his quirk is hardening and this looked more like a strength quirk. Katsuki. Damn, shitty hair has some tricks up his sleeves. Shoto. Could this be a second quirk? Izumi. Or maybe he has mutant powers. Katsumi. I don't believe that. Shoka. Yeah, I mean if he would have, then why isn't he in Izuku's school? Izumi. Babel isn't the only hero school that has students with mutant powers, you know. With Izuku and his class. Akira. He is interesting. Nikki. What do you mean? Akira. I can see his quirk energy, but he also has a mutant energy. Izuku. Really, what kind of mutant powers does he have? Akira. Interesting. Jiz. What is interesting? Akira. I can only shape his quirk but not his mutant powers. That would mean he has a pretty strong mutant power. Nikki. What makes you say that? Akira. You see, there is a limit to my powers. The more powerful a quirk or a mutant power is, the harder is it for me to shape it to my use. If I take Izuku or Shinso here, I can't shape Izuku's mutant powers, but I can shape his quirk so that I can use it. For Shinso it is nearly the same, only that I can shape his mutant powers, but it would cost me a lot of my own energy. Nikki. So that boy has powers that can keep up with Izuku's powers. Akira. Yes, Izuku. We should ask him what his powers are after the sports festival is over. Evan. But how did the professor don't find him? I mean, if his powers are able to keep up with Izuku, wouldn't that mean that he is Omega level mutant? The professor especially looks out for those. Rogue. Maybe he found out about his powers not so long ago. Kitty. Or he knew about them but never used them out of fear of something. Evans. But why use it now then? Akira. Evans. Is something wrong, Akira? Akira. His powers have some kind of effect on his quirk. Nikki. What effect? Akira. I don't know, it feels as if his quirk is growing. Professor Xavier. How could we have overlooked him? Beast. No idea, Professor. He probably never used his powers until recently. Storm. Maybe we should call Hitoshi and tell him to talk to that kid. Jean. I am kind of afraid that All Might could again think that he is an ally of a villain like he did by Akira. Cyclops. That guy is so stupid that I actually believe he will. Beast. And Nezu made someone like him a teacher. Professor Xavier then closed his eyes and took a deep breath in before opening them again. Professor Xavier. I don't think he will join us. Izuku Pav. Well, what is there to say about those fights? They were quite uneventful. Most of them were over pretty fast, but to be fair, some were surprising and some were just disappointing. One of the more surprising ones was the one between Shoto and that Zero guy. He had a good start and for a few seconds it actually looked like he could do it, until Shoto had to go overkill and nearly freeze the entire stadium. I am kind of glad his sister didn't manage to get into the fights, not gonna lie, her quirk control is extremely bad compared to Shoto. Kurt was also good. He surprised even me as he actually managed to force Akira to go on the defense, but in the end he lost. At least he can brag about the fact that he managed to force Akira into the defense. Anyways, now it was my turn. I stood up and gave my phone to Kurt so he could play Angry Birds on it. I walked into the arena and for some reason Bakugo was late, no idea why, but he just was. Now he was just glaring at me, so I did my best bored expression I can. Actually, I am extremely excited. Why? Because now I can drag his reputation through the mud and make him feel like he made me feel for the past years. Midnight. Are both fighters ready? I just nodded while Bakugo gave on of his famous killer smirks while saying. Katsuki. Yes, now let me kick his ass. Izuku. I would pay to see that happening. This only angered Katsuki as small explosions crackled in the palm of his hand. Midnight. Fight. Katsuki. Die. No one Pav. Katsuki shot forward trying to get a hit on Izuku but was stopped by a punch to the face. Izuku moved quickly, giving Katsuki no time or space to use his quirk. A crack was heard and Katsuki fell to the floor holding screaming in pain as Izuku just broke his knee. That was followed up by a kick to the face that sended Katsuki flying backwards. Swallowing his pain, Katsuki used his quirk to catapult himself forward. He then tried to land a right hook on Izuku, but Izuku just dodged, grabbed his arm and slammed him into the ground, creating cracks beneath the blonde teen's back. Katsuki. Gah. Present Mike. Holy s cow. How is that boy still conscious? That was the beat down of a lifetime. Aizawa. Well, you aren't a hand-to-hand combatant, so you go down way easier. Present Mike. What is that supposed to mean? Meanwhile, down in the arena, Katsuki somehow managed to get up, even his right leg was just dangling around, useless and impossible to use. Izuku. Damn Bakugo, I knew you were stubborn like a donkey, but I didn't thought you were stubborn like a mountain. Katsuki. Grr. Izuku. You want to know something, Bakugo? This fight is quite uneventful, wouldn't you agree? Katsuki. Grrraaaaaaaaaa. Katsuki charged again, lifting himself of the ground with his explosions. Katsuki. Howitzer impact. Katsuki let out a massive explosion. The explosive teen thought that he finally got his opponent as thick smoke covered half of the arena. But that smirk was quickly replaced by him coughing up blood. He looked down to see a big cut across his chest. Katsuki. Wah. He couldn't finish as he fell forward unconscious. Midnight. Bakugo. Katsuki is not able to continue. The winner is Izuku Yagi. The stadium cheered for the winner as Izuku disbanded his katana. Izuku. Huh, would you look at that, this fight was somewhat eventful. With those words, Izuku left the arena as the medic bots brought Katsuki to Recovery Girl. As Izuku joined his friends, he saw Kurt still playing Angry Birds until he cheered. Kurt. Ha, I beat your record. Izuku. Did you play Angry Birds the entire time while I was gone? Kurt. Of course, the fight was boring anyways. Izuku. Pav. So there are only 2 rounds left, the last fight of the half-finals and then the final fight. The last fight of the half-finals was Akira versus Izumi. Oh man, what would I have given to fight Izumi? Well, at least I know that Akira will probably have no problems taking her out. Though I must say that I am surprised, she managed to make it all the way here to the half-finals. She definitely did train, that is for sure. I mean, she even sended Blob flying out of the arena. Kurt. It should be pretty obvious who is gonna win this round. Nikki. I agree, this Izumi girl is surprisingly stronger than she looks. I mean, she is as thin as a pencil with some slight muscles. Izuku. Her quirk is a S-rank telekinesis quirk, normally it shouldn't be able to do the things she did today. Luciano. So she is cheating. Izuku. No, she wouldn't go down that road. She probably pushed her quirk to the point of awakening. Present Mike announced the beginning of the round as Akira and Izumi entered the arena. They stood opposite to each other. Izumi was glaring at Akira while Akira had her signature smirk on her face as she stared back. Midnight. Are the fighters ready? Both Izumi and Akira nodded. Midnight. Go. Izumi immediately charged while ripping out 2 boulders of concrete with her quirk. She sended the 2 boulders flying towards Akira, who easily dodged them. But the boulders were only a distraction so that Izumi could get close. She tried to punch Akira with one of her powered-up punches. Akira managed to block the punch just in time, but the force of the punch still caused cracks to appear underneath her feet. Akira. Damn, not bad girl. Akira threw one of her own punches, hitting Izumi in the guts, sending the green-haired girl flying backwards. Izumi, with the help of her quirk though, managed to catch herself mid-flight. Luciano. She is better than I thought. Jiz. I am honestly quite surprised that she managed to get this far. Arena. The girl got the easy road here. When you look exactly, you realize that she was only once paired against a mutant, and that was Blob. Henry. I guess that rat wants to see how her strongest students does against one of our strongest. Izumi was thrown back again, but this time Akira sended a small ball made out of energy after her. She tried to dodge, but it hit her in the shoulder and you could hear the crack all the way up to the stands. Rogue. That sounded painful. Izuku. By this point Akira is just playing with her. Kurt. Yeah, but that was the first time she used one of her energy attacks. Nikki. I guess it hurts more, so she kept it for people that she doesn't like. Kurt. You will have a hard time, babe. Izuku. Tell me about it. Izumi now was on her knees as she tried to fend off Akira with her telekinesis quirk. But Akira dodged every attack that was sent her way, before appearing directly in front of Izumi. Akira. Checkmate. Akira flicks Izumi's head with her pointer finger with enough strength to send the green-haired out of the ring. The bet was lost for Izumi. Midnight. Izumi Yagi is out of bonds. Tagata Akira is the winner and moves on to the finals. The crowd cheered as Akira gave cockly salute in my direction. Henry. Well, no surprise honestly. Tom. Yep. Kitty. Good luck Izuku. Izuku. I think I will need more than luck. Present mic. We will take a 30-minute break to repair the arena before the next fight. Kurt turned in my lap to face me. Kurt. Got any significant strategy to fight her? Izuku. Well, maybe. The problem with Akira is that until now I never saw her going full out. Or show a great variety of powers, so she unpredictable. 30 minutes later, I was walking through the hallway towards the arena. I took a deep breath before walking out of it and into the arena. Present mic. On this side we have the samurai of the X-Men Izuku Yagi. The crowd cheered as I stepped into the ring. Present mic. And on this side we have the cocky, mysterious, powerhouse of Bible's hero High Tagada Akira. The crowd cheered again, but this time louder. It was quite obvious who people thought would win. Well, I won't make it easy for Akira, that is for sure. Akira's powers are mostly energy-based. She either has to try to end the fight quickly or she has to try to keep her energy output low. But that is only a theory, of course. It's quite hard to analyze a person that you never saw going full out. Also, that infinity thingy of her will be a pain in the ass. Present mic. Those two powerhouses have shown only a quarter of their power. Now they are facing off against each other. I bet that the arena will need massive repairs after this fight. Aizawa. I wouldn't be surprised if we need to evacuate. Present mic. You heard it, folks. Anyways, let's get this started. How am I gonna do this? I am at a disadvantage here. The arena is made out of concrete and the only dirt here is the dirt stuck to people's shoes. I will have to relay on my quirk, armor and weaponry. Midnight. Are the fighters ready? Akira and I nodded. Midnight. Start. The bell rang but neither me or Akira moved. That seemed to confuse a lot of people since I could confused exclaims and muttering. Present mic. The fight started but they are not moving. Aizawa. Izuku Yagi is a close court combatant. He is nearly unbeatable in combat even with his powers restricted. Akira Tagada is more of a middle-ranged fighter. She can hold herself in close combat but not to the extent like Yagi can. But her powers make a dangerous enemy one way or another, especially in range. What should I do? I could try my new technique, maybe it helps with my disadvantage. I took a deep breath before closing my eyes. As I opened them again they were glowing green, and as soon as I did that the ground in the arena began to rumble. Present mic. Wow. What is going on? Earthquake. The ground ripped open as 4 threes came shooting out of the ground and the entire arena was covered in knee-height grass. Akira, seeing this, quickly created a red energy ball, smashing it on the ground and burning everything in a 2-meter radius around her. Present mic. Holy shit. How did he do that? Aizawa. There was no nature around him so he brought it here. Present mic. This is crazy, I never saw a quirk or anything else do that. Akira. Copying me, I see. Izuku. Not exactly. Akira. Well then let's see how it goes. Domain expansion. Infinite void. Izuku. So directly getting out the heavy hitters, Well, let's see how this goes. My created nature was enveloped in the infinite void, but before it could envelope me it was stopped by a green wall of light. Akira. Lightning and thunder was heard as our domains clashed, fighting for dominance. Akira. You little rat. You did copy me. No one pav. The ground was shaking and people started to scream as the wind picked up on strength. Shoji from class 1A had to hold Mineta so he wouldn't fly away. Present mic. What the hell is going on? Aizawa. Izuku power over nature and Akira's power over energy are clashing. Both of them have control forces that mankind always tried to control but never could. The ground began to crack open and a part of the arena's roof came down. The crowd screamed even more. Luckily the pro heroes in the arena jumped immediately into action and caught the falling roof before it could hit the civilians. Present mic. Someone has to stop them. Smentos tried to use his quirk but the cement simply turned into dust as soon as it touched Akira or Izuku. But he did manage to grab Midnight and pulled her away from the two teenagers. Smentos. I can't stop them. Midnight. Me either. The wind picked up even more. Now even Fatgum had to hold on to not be thrown away, and then with a massive thunder-like explosion and a lot of screams it stopped. Present mic. On the arena both Izuku and Akira were on their knees. Akira. Damn. Akira looked up and smirked at Izuku. Akira. Can you still stand? Izuku. Nope. Izuku's eyes closed before he fell forward, his face hitting the destroyed ground. Silence, people were staring in awe and shock until midnight. Izuku Yagi is KO. Tagada Akira wins the sports festival. Present mic. Wait, just like that it's over. Aizawa. We didn't saw much action compared to the other fights, but this was probably the most intense fight in the entirety of UA history. The next day, after Izuku Akira also passed out, Both of them slept over the winter ceremony and received their medals on the next day. Right now both of them were in the UA infirmary with their friends. Shuri. You guys nearly took down the entire arena. Akira. Only nearly. I thought we did take it down. Luciano. If that would have happened then we would have left you two alone to clean that up. Shinso. The damage you caused was already enough. Arena. Some poor bastard from Class 1A flew out of the arena actually. Izuku rested his head on Kurt's shoulder who was sitting beside him on the bed. Izuku. That was quite a close match, what do you say Akira? Akira. Yeah, luckily I had more energy left than you. Izuku. You got lucky. Somewhere in the USA. The friends of your daughter surely are monsters. I can't believe that my daughter is friends with such demons. No fear my friend, we will save her and rid this world from those two demons. Thank you Master Templar. No one Pav. It has been 3 days since the sports festival. Izuku and his friends were finally back in the US. Currently they were sitting in their classroom as their homeroom teacher Maxon walked in. Maxon. Good morning class. I hope you had a nice weekend after the sports festival. Anyways, let's get to the lesson for today. He took a chalk and turned around to the blackboard and wrote cults on it. Maxon. Can anyone tell me what cults are? Nikki. Cult are a small group of people led by a self-appointed leader, who excessively controls its members, requiring unwavering devotion to a set of beliefs and practices which are considered deviant. Maxon. Very good. Can anyone tell what type of cults exist? Tom. There are religious cults, political cults and self-improvement cults. Maxon. Good. Today we will go over different cults within the US and how you can determine if a cult is dangerous or not. Henry. Aren't most of them assholes? Maxon. Some surely, others just want to be left in peace. If we take an example, the Paranormal Liberation Army in Japan founded by the villain Destro, or also known as Chikara Yatsubashi. He was against the laws on quirks and many people agreed with his ideology that quirks should be used without restrictions. Those guys are a political cult, one that is ready to fight for what they think is right. On the other hand, the family or the children of God were a religious cult. Their leader promoted the idea that he was God's end-time messenger. They also promoted an extreme version of free love. Their leader David Berg encouraged sex between members regardless of age or relationship to get closer to God, which resulted into rampant child sexual abuse and incest. Maxon looked around the class seeing Tom looking down at his table. Maxon. Sadly, people don't get smarter and new cults are founded. One which is quite famous within the US is the cult of the Quirk Destroyers. At those words Tom seemed to tense. Maxon. That cult hates quirks and sees them as a sign of the devil. Their leader is a guy they call the Templar. Sadly, we don't know anything else about him since he kept a low profile, which is the complete opposite of what his followers are doing. The members of the cult are causing a lot of trouble like property damage and hostage situations. Their most famous action to date was as they took an entire laboratory on an island hostage for 2 days. They wanted the scientists to create a formula that could erase quirks. Luckily no one was killed and the members were arrested. Henry lifted his hand and Maxon looked at him. Henry. That is a new cult. Shouldn't a cult like that be older since quirks are around for 200 years now? Maxon. You may think that, but no. Surprisingly, the Quirk Destroyer cult is only around 50 years old. One founding member that died in a shootout with the police recently wrote in a novel that ever since quirks appeared, humans are not humans anymore and that only the Templar could save the world of becoming Satan's playground. Henry. And people believed that. Maxon. Sadly. This time Kurt lifted his hand. Maxon. Yes, Kurt. Kurt. What ahm do they do to mutant quirked people? Maxon. We don't know. But we never saw a mutant person around them, so we guess they don't like them. Tom muttered under his breath. Tom. That is one way to put it. Izuku lifted his hand. Maxon. Yes, Izuku. Izuku. Why are we learning about those cults? Maxon. Because in 2 months you will go on your first mission. All I can say now is that it will be a raid on a cult. The rest is at the moment restricted even to me. We will get more informations once the last preparations have been made. That is why we go over cults right now. We will go over the most famous ones now and later on over some smallers. That should take us at least 3 weeks. Does anyone have anything against that? Class. No sir. Maxon. Good, now let's continue. Later in the hallway. Akira. Tom, wait. Slow down. Tom. Leave me alone, Akira. Akira finally catches up to Tom and grabs his shoulder. Akira. Look, I know this is a hard subject for you. But you have to tell them what you know. Tom. They figure it out on their own. Akira. Maybe, but you can make it easier. Tom. I just don't want to remember it. I don't want to hear his screams again or see his face. Akira. You don't have to, you just have to tell us about the location and what you know about the Templar. Can you do that? Tom shaking his head. I can't, I really can't. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Please make sure to like and subscribe to the channel, and now we will see you in the next video.